only thing better than watching football is talking about it. So we invented Reaction Monday.
Sponsored by the Roofing Guys.
The Fan. If athleisure was a radio show, this would be that radio show. Bo Bishop, a man of fine taste and Montana class.
My wife will try and drag me to like an Easter brunch buffet, and I don't even like that because I don't like everybody standing over food I'm going to eat.
Friends with the highest intellectuals.
We found out the hard way. We have white furniture. That's all I'll say.
What a mess.
Oh, God. Holy
Literally.
An athlete, coach, husband, and father.
That drives me nuts. My kids are, I'm him. Shut up. Kidding me? You're 9. You're not him. I don't even know what the hell that means.
And two guys who are considerable downgrades from a former football player.
You were saying the Olympics wasn't interesting you yesterday. Well, can I offer you 50 seconds of interest?
50 seconds of interest is a similar pitch I make to my girlfriend on a nightly basis.
You're listening to Bishop and Friends.
All right, let's do it live on a Reaction Monday edition of the program. Bo and the boys with you for the next 3 races here. Cole's here as well. We'll blitz the Buckeyes coming up at 11 o'clock. Austin Ward, 10:33, 11:33, Brandon Marcello. Around college football, a wild Saturday night to say the least. And, of course, some reaction from NFL Sunday as well, as both the Browns and the Bengals go in opposite directions in the Browns way that save it for 10. We'll save that for 10 o'clock. My God. I was, so my wife had her birthday was last week. And so she had she had some friends over and they were having like a wine hors d'oeuvre thing on Saturday night. And I said, that'll be fine. The boys and I'll watch the Buckeye game in the basement and we won't bug you. We'll be fine. We'll get some grub down there, get some drinks. Bootsy will make some Shirley Temples. We'll have the time of our lives. And we were sitting there watching the football and we had a 3 TV setup for the college football on Saturday night. And Beamsy said, Dad, when was college football this popular when you were a kid? And I said, no, it was not. And he said, well, why was that? And I said, well, you know, when I was a kid way back in the 80s, you wouldn't get this much football, quite honestly. You couldn't watch all of it. You could watch a couple of games here or there. It felt like college football from a network perspective didn't even really start until October. I could be wrong on that, but that's how it seemed in my mind's eye, that it started in October and you get a couple of games on a Saturday. It wasn't until I was in middle school that college game day started to become a thing, and then it started to take off through the 90s, and then obviously it's been full steam ahead since and been one of the along with the NFL, the 2 fastest growing sports in terms of popularity in this country, to the point that college football is very clearly a second to the NFL in popularity in this country. And he said, well, why do you think that is? And I said, well, part of it was the accessibility, and part of it is what you're seeing here tonight. So it's damn good to be a college football fan in 2024. I had 3 TVs on. On one TV, I had Penn State and Illinois. On another TV, I had Alabama and Georgia. And on the big screen, I had our game. And I realize that not everybody out there can have 3, but it's not that hard if you want to. They're pretty affordable. Smart TVs are pretty affordable. When I was a kid, if you wanted a big TV, it was like $27,000. That's not the case anymore. You can get into them pretty cheaply and be able to mount them, and they all come with smart TV accessories, so they're kind of ready to go right out of the wrapper, and you can do it. It's not that difficult to be able to do. So I said that's part of it is what you're seeing on Saturday night. And he said, what do you mean? I said, the environment. Do you see how great these environments are? When you see Penn State walk out in Happy Valley and you see the whiteout and you see that walk down that tunnel and then the walk out. When you see Bama walk out at Bryant-Denny and you see Georgia coming out of the other end zone and you see a place that is a fever pitch, even our game, Michigan State was certainly ready for the game. The fans were. By halftime, obviously, it was cooked and they bounced as they typically do up there, and you get a lot of scarlet and gray. But at least at the beginning, they were ready to go. I said that environment is not matched anywhere on an NFL Sunday. It is unique only to college football. It is the only thing that if you were to put on a game on Saturday, and you could have put on as many as 20, 30 games on the course of Saturday, and every one of them had these environments. College game day was in Tuscaloosa for Alabama, Georgia, and we'll get to that game in a second, and rightfully so. Big Noon was at UCF, Colorado. And did you see the crowd for that? It's full. There's thousands of people. There is an environment to Saturday that is NFL Sunday can't even match. I'm not going to say that the product is as good on Saturday as it is on Sunday, but maybe that's part of the charm of it. that it's clunky, that it's weird, that nobody can tackle, although the Browns don't tackle either, that Ryan Williams can just run go routes. In the Georgia-Bama game, it just turned into a college football 25 video game. Just run all goes. All goes. Throw it deep. Someone will catch it down there, and they did. So I think that's part of the charm of it as well. And it led to, honestly, a magical Saturday. And all of the game, there were so many great moments out there, so many Heisman things that you'll remember for a long time. But it's the accessibility, it's the passion, it's the greatness. I was watching a little bit of the Kentucky Ole Miss game on Saturday afternoon, and the guys calling the game said Ole Miss's enrollment used to be, I could have these numbers wrong, but you'll get the point, somewhere around 15,000, 16,000 was like the enrollment at Ole Miss, and now it's like 23. And you say, well, why? And I said, well, that's why. That's why. Because College Game Day went there. They showed you how cool that environment is. They showed you, quite honestly, the co-eds there are just fine, so that's part of it. And they show you the way they dress for football games. They show you that environment, and you say, I got to be a part of it. A buddy of mine in town this weekend was at Clemson. He has no ties. His family has no ties to South Carolina. They have no ties to Clemson University at all. Why? Because his daughter's a senior, and she wants to go somewhere in the South for college. It all marries. It all marries, Reese.
Yeah, I took a bunch of B-roll from this weekend. It's the trailer for College Football, the movie. Mm-hmm. Like even Saturday night, with what happened between Virginia Tech and Miami and the 6 minutes it took for them to figure out, did he have possession of the ball? Did the Miami player touch the ball out of bounds in another dimension? Like, even that, leading into everything that happened Saturday, like, that's the pomp and circumstance you want. That's the pomp and circumstance you love. That's what, in my opinion, makes this such a more beautiful game than what I think is a sterilized NFL environment for the most part. There are some instances you can get, like, with whatever Raiders fans want to do. It's totally up to them. I don't mean to yuck anybody's yum, but college football just has it for everybody in more ways than the NFL. And you saw all of that Friday and Saturday.
That's right. There's so many examples of it, right? Those environments are duplicated. You're right. Miami, Virginia Tech was nuts on Friday night. And I do think the mess is kind of a beautiful mess. You know, I think it's
we all love
great.
It for the mess.
Yeah. I do. I like it. It's funny. Everybody comes at you for the NIL, and it's going to change this. And we spent some time last week talking about the quarterback from UNLV, and now, no, it's fine. It's fine. The games are great. The games are great. It's thrilling stuff, and it's duplicable around the country. And on Saturday night, you had 3 instances of this. All right. As far as our game, my initial thoughts on this are, this is a very awkward start to a season, and one of the more awkward starts to a season that I can remember. And I'm not talking about the play on the field. I think the play on the field is more than fine. It's just clunky. You didn't play anybody the whole first month. You had this weird bye week that was in there. Then you go to Sparty Land to play a rebuilding Spartan team that's just not ready for the type of talent that you have. What do I know about Ohio State football through the month of September? Well, I know that they're supremely talented. I know that they have a freshman who would probably be a top 10 pick in the NFL draft if he were eligible. I know that they are something that is getting better and better. I think they're going to bludgeon teams if they need to, and when they play good teams, like in 2 weeks when they go out to Eugene, because Oregon's starting to hum a little bit, you're going to probably bludgeon teams is probably what you're going to do with those 2 backs and Will running behind them. I think physically, defensively, you're going to be more than fine in those type of games. But what I don't know, and it's just a factor of the way that the schedule has worked out this 1 year. And remember, folks, this year, from a scheduling standpoint, is the anomaly. Normally, you would have big non-conference game in the first month. It's the way Ohio State's scheduled for Gene's entire tenure. It's the way it was supposed to be this year. Washington, rather, was bounced out once you added the trips to USC and UCLA, and so that's how you have this nonsense September that we've had. Next year, we get Texas, and after that, it's Alabama and Georgia, and so you're going to have these big tests early. And I did find myself on Saturday night wanting to have one of those type of games. And I know we're going to have one in 2 weeks, and we've got to wait for it. But it's led to kind of an awkward start in that your best is not required on a Saturday night. And they weren't probably at their best on Saturday night in East Lansing. They probably weren't. And it was more than enough. They covered 38-7. Second time this year they covered. Kind of take the foot off the gas in the second half. We played 3 quarterbacks in the game. juxtaposed to what you were seeing on another television screen, whether it was Penn State just kind of suffocating Illinois and finally winning 21-7, or the complete fireworks at Bryant-Denny. And also with all of the other teams that are in your peer group, talking about Georgia, Bama, Texas, Oregon, all of those teams have had various tests. We just haven't had one yet. You're going to get one in 2 weeks. I don't know if you get one against Iowa on Saturday or not, but that's made judging this team very difficult for me, Reese.
Well, I do think with Iowa, you get a chance to see if your defense can pitch a shutout, and you also get a chance to see how they'll protect Will Howard, who could be dealing with rib, took a helmet shot there that forced Devin Brown in at the end of the half. So I think there are a couple of things, but generally this feels like when you don't study for a test, but you're just smart enough to pass. You're just smart enough to get an A or a B, and you're like, this is fine through most of like the beginning part of the semester. And now I think midterms are starting to creep up. You're like, well, I'd better actually buckle down. Because again, against Oregon on October 12th, like it's not going to be it's like 20-plus point favorites Ohio State is over Iowa. I'll get the actual number here in a second, but it's not going to be the case against Oregon.
No, it's not. And you look at this win against Michigan State, and you think about the things you do well. Here's what I don't know, and we won't know, unfortunately, until honestly we're in the fire. I don't know if this team can throw it when everybody knows you're throwing it, the way that Georgia did on Saturday night. I mean, Georgia proved that they can do that. I know Texas can do that. I think Alabama can do that. I think we can do it. We just haven't had to yet. So that's something that, will we get that test against Oregon in a couple of weeks? Will you get it against Penn State? Will it come here against Nebraska if Dylan Raiola gets hot? Will it come in the Michigan game? Or will it be something that you don't see or are not forced to figure out if you're good at it until the playoff? I don't know that. But you're right, and I think your analogy there is an apt one in terms of you're just really smart right now. In other words, we're really talented. And when you're really talented, you can roll the ball out on a Saturday night in East Lansing and play kind of your B game and never be threatened. And that's what this was. It was kind of a B game. We haven't seen an A game yet. Haven't need to see an AA plus game yet, but you're going to need one. I think it's going to be in Eugene in a couple of weeks. Lots to get to on this one, including the play of a sublime freshman that is changing, honestly, even the scale that we judge freshmen around here. You'll hear from Jeremiah Smith, who had just 2 absurd catches in the game. And good Lord, could he be a freshman All-American receiver? First team, it's in play. He's clearly the biggest weapon that you've got offensively, and he's 18 years old. You'll hear from him on a absolutely sublime Saturday night. We are loaded up on a Reaction Monday edition. Bishop and Friends right here on The Fan.
The sound of Paul Keels calling a Buckeye game is erotic.
Oh, yes.
Your home of the Buckeyes, The Fan, Ohio sports destination.
I'm Leslie from Pella Columbus.
And I'm Wilson from that other window place.
At Pella, we use the newest technology to show you exactly how new windows would look on your home.
Well, we keep it simple at our window place. We use a number 2 pencil to draw what your house will look like with our new windows. See?
Oh, yeah. That definitely looks like a number 2.
Thank you, Leslie. Wait, I see what you did there.
Get the windows that Columbus homeowners rate the leading and most trusted at PellaColumbus.com.
If you're struggling with ED or your performance is down and your belly fat is growing, listen up. You've got one life. Now is the time to act.
At the Columbus Men's Clinic, we're not just healthcare, we're your secret weapon. Don't wait another day. Here's why you need to act right now.
Every moment you delay, your condition could worsen. It's not just about sex, it's about your heart, your relationship, your life.
The Columbus Men's Clinic has over 10 years of proven results for low testosterone and increasing drive, energy level, and performance. We've introduced ED and enhancement treatments so exclusive, you'll wonder why you waited.
Procrastination is the thief of time. When it comes to your sexual health, you can't afford to wait. Join the League of Gentlemen who've walked out of our doors with a swagger.
Call the Columbus Men's Clinic at 614-300-7400 or visit columbusmensclinic.com. Book your $99 male performance consultation now, including blood work. Call 614-300-7400 or visit columbusmensclinic.com. The Columbus Men's Clinic, making it happen.
Breaking, it's never ordinary at Bet365. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. 21 plus only. Must be physically located in Ohio.
Here at The Fan, we give you 14 hours of live and local programming every day. We care about you. We live and work in your community. Except Bo Bishop. He won't tell us where the hell he is. Your live and local station. Except Bo. The Fan.
Jeremy Foltz, CEO and co-founder of 3C Technology Solutions, speaks about working with First Bank of Central Ohio.
I think FBCO had a really nice personal touch. Transition was really easy and much cleaner than I thought it would be. Some very specific things that made me very excited to work with them are availability and creativity.
Experience what it's like to be first at First Bank of Central Ohio. Visit fbcentralohio.com for more details. Member FDIC. An equal housing lender.
Attention, small business or sole proprietors. Do you want to save money on health care for your business? Be able to cover your employees with the best dental, doctors, and hospitals? Hey, it's Bobby Carpenter for the SACA Benefit Plan. Nearly 100,000 members strong in the state of Ohio. The SACA Benefit Plan is administered by Anthem and could be right for you. Small businesses, visit 844-MEDOhio.com. That's medohio.com. The SACA Benefit Plan could be right for you. Visit 844-MEDOhio.com.
After 31 years in Washington, just how much has Sherrod Brown changed? When he first wanted our vote, he said this.
My allegiance will be to Ohio and to the communities in Ohio.
To Ohio? Sherrod Brown voted for amnesty for 11 million illegal immigrants. And he voted to give them taxpayer-funded benefits, like free health care to illegals who get amnesty, Social Security checks, COVID relief checks, all to be paid for by you. And Sherrod Brown's open border policies have led to more fentanyl, dangerous gangs, even terrorists pouring into our country. So when Sherrod Brown says this,
my allegiance will be to Ohio and to the communities in Ohio.
Don't listen to what Sherrod Brown says. Watch what he does. Because Sherrod Brown doesn't vote for Ohio anymore. He's way too liberal for Ohio. American Crossroads paid for and is responsible for the content of this advertising. Not authorized by any candidate or candidates committee. AmericanCrossroads.org.
Fan weather.
From the Logan AC and Heat Services Weather Center.
Today, 77 and cloudy with a 30% chance of rain. 63 is your nighttime low tonight with a few showers. Showers on your Tuesday with a high of 79. I'm meteorologist Dylan Robichaud with your 10 TV weather impact forecast on 97.1 The Fan.
Matty Ice has a large tattoo on his calf of LeBron eating a lion. I have nothing else to say. Rothman and Ice.
Weekdays from noon to 3.
The Fan. With friends like these, who needs former college football players? This is Bishop and Friends.
Enormous, mammoth station announcement tomorrow, 10 o'clock. Sharp. Don't you dare miss it. I know that you won't. You don't want to miss it anytime Jeremiah Smith is on the field. He has been that sensational early on. It's the rare instance where the hype doesn't even quite match the reality. He did two things in the game on Sunday. One to save Will Howard, and then potentially, I was listening to the Juice Boys this morning about the throw that Devin made. I think, yes, it was a great read and a great throw. I also think the only person on the planet who could have caught it is maybe Jeremiah Smith. It was a fastball high outside, and he put a paw up and snared it. I don't know how the hell he caught it, but he did. And it's something that happens now on a regular basis. And we probably should have known that this was coming, because you will recall, and we do bring this up from time to time, that in the spring game, Ryan Day is standing there with Joel Klatt, and he goes, "Watch this." And he was very upset that Will Howard didn't put the ball in a position where Jeremiah could make a play. So you probably knew that it was coming at that point. You heard all of the buzz, but it's even exceeded that. He's absolutely sensational. He was available post game. He says he's improving even through week to week. Here's Jeremiah.
I feel like I advanced a lot. Learning defenses, understanding what people doing and stuff like that on the defensive side of the ball. And I feel like I learned a lot, just not only because of me, it's because Coach Hartline helped me a lot in learning a lot of new things just coming into college.
Think about this. This was NB. Well, it was Peacock. I forget. More on that in a second. But he did get the full post game interview as part of it, and part of that is the post game reaction. So here was Jeremiah post game, courtesy of NBC Sports.
I just had a great night. I mean, it just started with the week that I had, just preparation with Coach Hartline, just the receivers. I mean, just meeting with them, breaking down Michigan State. I mean, just had a great week of preparation, that's all.
Jeremiah, there's one thing about preparation and talent, being in the moment. Can you just help us understand what it's like to see a ball coming your way and reach up with one mitt and grab it?
I mean, I just feel like I got to make my quarterback look good. It don't matter how the ball comes. I mean, I feel like that ball is mine. It don't matter. No 50-50 ball with me, so I just feel like every ball is mine that come my way.
That's Lewis Johnson, right?
I think so.
He was interviewing gold medalists a month ago.
Put that on a T-shirt. There are no 50-50 balls with me.
No, that's a great line.
That's hell of confidence.
That is, yeah. His coach, Ryan Day, had some comments as well. And the one-handed grab, the one-handed touchdown grab, led to kind of the momentum that followed. Here's Coach Day on Jeremiah.
And I thought Chip was aggressive, did a really good job of calling him. And Devin stepped up in a big way, came in for Will and delivered that throw. But, I mean, what an unbelievable catch. I mean, I couldn't believe he caught it. Just a tremendous play. But then I thought we came out in the second half, too, and continued that because 28-7 at half. We wanted to get the thing to at least 35. And, I think when, you come out and you can get a 3-and-out, or I don't know if it was exactly a 3-and-out, and then get the ball back and score another touchdown. It just it flips the game, and I thought that was kind of where the game turned.
Ryan was asked post-game as well just about what Jeremiah has done so far this season and what you can expect here the rest of the way. Here's Coach Day.
His work ethic. He does it every day in practice. I mean, just doesn't say a word, but works his tail off. His discipline, his humility. He loves being a Buckeye. You can tell just with the way he works with his teammates. And he's coming out of his shell a little bit, too, which is great to see. But, I mean, the talent speaks for itself. I just am impressed with the discipline and the hard work and being able to step in at such a young age. The only way you do that is if you go in and put the work in. And he came in with that work ethic. Brian's certainly taken it from there, but this is a special young man.
I remember I told you guys a story all the way back in, it might even been on signing day in December when I was texting back and forth with a buddy of mine who's a Florida State guy, and they were trying to get Jeremiah as well, but it really came down to Miami and Ohio State. And I remember him saying that there was a recruiting expert in South Florida who said he's the best wide receiver to ever come out of South Florida. And you said, okay, they've had a lot of dudes that have come through there, so that's mighty praise. And he goes, no, dude, I'm telling you, he's Julio Jones. And so that same friend and I were texting on Saturday night, and he goes, I told you, he's Julio Jones. And I said, that's as high a praise as can be because Julio is as dominant as ever. And we had Paul Feinbaum on last week, as we do every single Thursday, and he said Nick Saban called Julio Jones the most important recruit that he ever recruited and got to sign on the line, which is dotted. And that's the type of impact that Jeremiah Smith has on this offense. And what I said to my buddy is I said, here's the thing that's crazy about him. Emeka Egbuka is a first-round pick at receiver, and he's outshining him. And this isn't to put down Emeka. It's just how absurdly gifted he is. Even amongst greats, he shines, Reese.
Remember back to signing day when Ryan Day had a press conference, and then I think either he started the press conference or it was late because he had to take a phone call. Dotting the I's and crossing the T's for Jeremiah Smith to be a Buckeye. And then the news kind of broke that, yes, in fact, Jeremiah was going to commit to Ohio State, and Ryan Day came out and they asked him about it, and he almost fell over. And I know he was acting
a little bit. At Jerry. Remember this? He looked over at Jerry, and he said, is it in? Is that true? Is it done? And then he, crumbled.
And the two catches that Jeremiah Smith made, I had similar reactions. It was tongue-in-cheek when I said, a quarterback for Ohio State, whether it's Will or whether it's Devin, says, bleep it. Jeremiah's down there somewhere. Now it's the case. Oh, Jeremiah's down there? F it.
No, it is. It's 100% the way that it's how talented he is. I said in the first segment, the one thing I don't know yet about this team is, can it throw it when the opposing team knows you have to throw it? In other words, you're down 2 scores. You can't bludgeon them anymore. You've got to go throw. You got to score quickly. My hunch is, they can because of him. And by the way, the other two are sublime. Carnell Tate is incredible. Emeka Egbuka, is, like I said, is a first-round pick. It's just that this kid gives them something different over the top of it. So when you have that threat over the top and then you have everything else happening underneath, it allows for it. It allows for you to get to a different gear offensively. It allows for something else to prepare for. The crazy thing about him is I don't know how you prepare for someone who's that physically gifted. You bracket him, good luck. There are going to be two other guys who are going to hurt you underneath. So, and even when you do, he just puts a paw up and brings it down. It was a show to watch, as I mentioned off the top, to watch him and Ryan Williams from Alabama playing on the same screens at the same time and realize that Jeremiah is 18 and Ryan Williams is 17, and they were unstoppable in major college football, unstoppable, and they're kids. And it does go. This is kind of it's a bit of an outlier, but it does make me think about a bigger thing that we've talked about here in the last couple of years about the receiver position at the highest level of the sport. And I think about Jamar Chase and trying to chase down more money. But if high school football is delivering this type of talent on a yearly basis at the position, what happens with the financial end of it at the NFL? That's a question for down the line. But will there be just such a flood of talent at the receiver position that just keeps coming and coming and coming? It feels like it might be, because you watch college football on a Saturday, Smith and Williams separate, and they're kids. They separate from the rest of the receivers that are out there. Travis Hunter's doing his own thing, and we'll get to them a little bit later in the show as well. But to have two freshmen play this dominantly on those type of stages consistently is going to be something else. And you think about Iowa, you think about Oregon, you think about he's only going to get better and better. This offensive passing attack is only going to get better and better, and they have so many weapons at their disposal. Go ahead, Reese.
Well, I was just going to say, on the biggest stages, like you had said, for Ohio State, they're just going to get bigger. Like, it was big, on Peacock Saturday, but you have CBS and Iowa at 3:30 this Saturday. It's like, what the advertising for that's going to be, come watch Jeremiah Smith. Yeah. And then we're supposed to, again, little birds have chirped that we're supposed to get the Oregon kick time sometime today. I would say on October 12th, have, some breakfast and then plan your day accordingly where you can make it into the evening for Ohio State and Oregon.
Feels like NBC 7:30, doesn't it?
Again, just what you're hearing, but that's another, come watch Jeremiah Smith in prime time. Maybe.
Well, when they didn't, when they didn't have, because Fox put out, we've got these games. So once that didn't happen and that game wasn't among them, I assume that was an NBC game.
But Gary and Brad this Saturday, and then whatever on NBC.
Yeah. All right. There you go. You're going to hear from Coach Day. What did he like? What didn't he like about his Buckeyes as they improved to 4-0? You'll hear from your quarterback, Will Howard, as well. Bishop and Friends right here on The Fan.
The only show where sports talk is eclipsed by food talk. Common Man and T-Bone.
Weekdays from 3 to 6.
The Fan.
Columbus, the wait is over. Blue Jackets hockey is back. Come feel the boom all season long. Be here Tuesday, October 15th for the home opener, presented by Nationwide. Get your tickets today at BlueJackets.com.
Hey guys, it's Anthony Rothman. If you're feeling at a loss for energy or just not upbeat like you used to be, it could be low testosterone. That's right, it affects our moods. Testosterone therapy, or TRT, can help you get back to your best. But guys have different T levels, so don't go for a standard dosage plan. Look for TRT with an optimized personal treatment plan, like you'll get with the experts at Low T Center. Do it now. Go to lowtcenter.com and book your appointment online. That's lowtcenter.com. Low T Center, reinventing men's healthcare.
APCO, windows, siding, and decks. Business First says we're the largest remodeler in town. Our philosophy is simple. We don't rely on sales gimmicks to get our customers. We rely on our reputation.
Absolutely, absolutely. You can trust APCO.
APCO.com.
Hello. I am a serious announcer hired to deliver a serious announcement. Get an Apex Pros winter tune-up for your furnace right now for only $29. Notice we are simply giving you the facts. Just $29 to make sure your furnace is ready for the upcoming Ohio winter. We know how you enjoy our usual fun and funny commercials. Hello? Beg pardon? Well, I see no reason to bring my mother into this. Good day to you, sir. Where was I? Oh, yes. A $29 tune-up will make sure your furnace runs safely and warmly all winter. That's serious. I'm serious. That's why we're not doing the usual that you've come to expect from Apex Pros. None of this or this nonsense. $29 for a furnace tune-up from Apex Pros. The pros who knows? Nose? Is that really how you say it? The pros who
Apex Pros, the official plumber of the Columbus Blue Jackets. ApexPros.com.
Did you know we have another station? More Buckeyes, more play-by-play, more everything.
Set your second preset to AM 1460 or 97.1 FM HD2 or listen on the Fan app.
Your home for almost too much football. The Fan.
All right. Protect yourself, Ohio. Get your shots for COVID and flu today. A message from the Ohio Departments of Health and Aging.
1-877 Cars for Kids. KARS Cars for Kids. 1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Donate today at carsforkids.org. That's cars with a K. Your car can be picked up as soon as the next day. Receive a tax deduction and vacation voucher.
1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Now accepting donations of land, homes, buildings, or any kind of real estate.
Script Ohio necklaces, Blocko earrings, Ohio State bangles, and more. You'll find an exclusive collection of luxury Buckeye jewelry you'll love at the Diamond Cellar, starting at $99. Show your Buckeye love at the Diamond Cellar, proud sponsor of Ohio State Athletics.
Dormar! Dormar! Your climate hero!
Dort, what's that guy yelling about in my noisemaker?
Dormar! Your climate hero!
Your climate hero, you fossil?
What's a climate hero?
That's Dormar, our same-day heating and AC company we've used for 60 years.
Who?
Dormar! Dormar! Your climate hero!
Come on, Dad, you laugh every time you hear their tidy-whitey commercials.
Yep, those are funnier.
Dormar! Dormar! Your climate hero!
At the Home Depot, we know Saturdays are for college football. That's why we have everything you need to never miss a play, like Bear Dynasty interior paint, their most durable one-coat hide paint ever. From a team color statement wall to a fan cave, complete with a mural honoring Nick Saban's 17-year dynasty.
Hey, I like that idea.
Nothing beats Bear Dynasty interior paint. It's everything you need all in one can.
Defend your game time with Bear and the Home Depot. How doers get more done.
Valid only when tinted to colors from the Bear Dynasty and Marquee Interior One-Coat Hide Color Collection.
At GNC, we know motivation can come from anywhere. You could be at the gym, totally focused on yourself and your own goals. You refuse to be gym-intimidated. Maybe you're on a weight loss journey, a new path to change your life. Nothing's gonna stop you. Or maybe you're putting in overtime on those booty goals. No shame in getting those gains round back. You could just be out to prove that when it comes to pickleball, you are a pickle baller. No matter what motivates you, we have the fuel to keep you going. Fuel your fitness at GNC.
Bishop and Friends is sponsored by Awaken 180 Weight Loss. Fast, sustainable weight loss without medications. The solution for weight loss. Awaken 180 Weight Loss.
What's up?
What's up, man? So with you.
Sponsored by High Bank Distillery, home of the best blended whiskey in America. Grab a bottle or dine in at their 2 restaurant locations in Grandview and Gahanna. Drink local, drink High Bank.
Certainly a lot up on a Reaction Monday in regard to the Buckeyes. They improved to 4-0, 38-7 at Sparty Land. 35 points in the second and third quarters combined to really pour this one out, as it were, on Sparty Land. There's a lot of stats to like in this one. 483 yards total offense, 185 on the ground, 298 through the air, 26 of 40. The one pick by Howard, probably not great, but other than that, it was a very strong effort. There is one stat that I think Ryan Day probably laments offensively, and it's the third down conversions. Just 8 of 17 on third down were the Buckeyes, which forced him to go for it four times on fourth down. He was asked about that postgame. Here's what Coach Day had to say.
You know, in the 4th and 1, we had a good play there, that was organized there on the sneak based on a couple different looks, so we went with that, and that was big. And then, the 4th and 5, the touchdown that ended up going to Emeka, I think it was going to be a 52-yarder maybe, and I just felt like that was too long, and a pooch wasn't worth it, so I thought that was, just a play there. Mm-hmm. And then when we got down in there in the red area, I didn't want to kick a field goal on the 3-yard line, so that's what led to those.
Little Zach Brown in the background. No losers. Everybody wins there.
I feel like just have a country playlist ready to go.
I really do. It's always ready.
Country dub. Fire it up.
Yeah. There was, defensively against a Michigan State. Jonathan Smith, I said this tweeted this post game. I do think he's going to be a good fit there. I think Aiden Childs will grow with him there. I think they'll be able to recruit it around it. I think he's got a good plan of attack. Childs was 13-19 for 167. He did throw the pick, but other than that, was pretty solid in the game. They just don't have the talent to hang in any way. But there probably were a couple of things defensively for the Buckeyes that you'd like to see be just a little bit better. Here's Ryan Day post-game evaluating how his defense played at East Lansing.
Early on, gave up a few things that we're going to get on film and get that cleaned up, but settled down nicely and like you said, really shut them down in the run game, and that's where it comes into play. I mean, if you can shut them down in the run game, it certainly makes it harder in the play action pass. And we were close to getting to him in the first half a little bit more. Had to hold on a little bit in coverage. We did that a little bit more in the second half.
There's a couple of games now. There's like one or two plays a game where even in these blowouts where you see number 2 fly in like a missile and make a play, and he did on Saturday night as well. And it was interesting watching Alabama-Georgia on the other screen and thinking, my God, how much the Crimson Tide wish Caleb Downs was still wearing number 2 for them, because it would have erased some of the problems that they had in the second half as Georgia came roaring back. He does not have those pick sixes yet. A lot of this is just opportunity, guys. Like, there haven't been many opportunities for that. But in terms of at least a handful of plays every game, you go, my God, how many people on the planet could make that play? The answer is not many. Luckily, they've got one of them. Here's Ryan Day on Caleb Downs.
Yeah, I thought Caleb played great tonight. Showed up in a big way on a bunch of different spots, and you can just see the acceleration, how fast he plays. And part of that is his athleticism, but another part is just the way he prepares. I mean, he prepares as hard as anybody on our team, and he was all over the place tonight, and made a huge difference. And you said in kind of turning that point where they were moving the ball some, and he got us going a little bit back there, and those are some big plays, and I think it kind of felt like it turned the momentum for us on defense.
If you were to say the questions, if you were to assign 3 questions for this football team coming out of September, and probably 3 questions that were to be asked about this team going into the season, number 1 would have been, is Will Howard good enough? Is he good enough? And I think he is. I think he's proven over the first month that he is, and you're going to hear from him in a second. The second thing was can you wreck offensive lines of scrimmage for the opposition? To be determined. We'll see. We haven't played Oregon yet. That's one of those ones where you're not going to know until you play a team like that, if you can do that at the highest level. And then kind of the third thing is offensively on the offensive line, can you road grade? We'll see. It seems like we can. Some of the third down stuff is a little bit concerning on that front. Number 1, though, was always about Will Howard, and it seems like he's getting better and better each week. The interception is obviously something he wants to have back. He got hit really hard at the end of half. Here was Will assessing his game and how he's feeling physically following that hit on Saturday night.
Yeah, I'm good. I just kind of got the wind knocked out of me. Thought it was a little shot to my ribs, but I'm good. But, I mean, I think that little series that we had right there, and Devin stepping in and making that throw and Jeremiah making that catch, that was the game right there. That really, I think, sealed it, and they didn't really want to play after that.
Of those 3 things, defensive line of scrimmage dominance, is it as good as it needs to be? Is your quarterback as good as he needs to be? And is the offensive line as dominant as it needs to be? A month in, Reese, how do you rank them?
Still the quarterback, and then I'd say the defensive line, and then the offensive line. So I think that was the exact way you phrased them.
Yeah,
I think it's still that because I think the quarterback can elevate so much, and he can make a lot of those issues on third down. I think he can make those inability to generate a serious pass rush that can be covered up if your quarterback just is incredible. Right, he can turn if they have a long, like in the Marshall game, like they have a long touchdown drive and then your quarterback connect a big pass in 2 plays and all of a sudden you're tied up without worrying about how much time you've taken off the clock or how many plays you've run in a game, which I know has been a big thorn in Ryan Day's side, is that they just haven't been able to run as many plays as they would like to. And it's like, well, in a college football game, how much are you going to actually do that you would like to do? But if you have a quarterback that you can, again, do what I think Will Howard does in a way to elevate an offense that you hadn't had in a Buckeye quarterback, especially last season, I think it can make a lot of it go away.
Yeah, and the thing with Will is you're not going to know till Eugene.
Right, because I don't know now.
You're just not.
We think.
Looks good. Looks good. Looks decisive. Looks accurate. We haven't needed to utilize kind of the full field yet. We are still an offense that doesn't like throwing it between the hashes. We like throwing to the edges. So at some point, you're probably going to need to do that, but you're really not going to go and know for sure until Eugene if that's the case. My hunch is that a month in, he's passed every test as they've been put in front of him. He looks plenty good enough to me. But there's going to come a game where you have to do what Carson Beck tried to do on Saturday night. You're going to have to do something that Jackson Dart failed at on Saturday afternoon in Oxford, where you have to go drive and get a touchdown down to save your season. And can you do it when everybody knows you're going to throw it? That will be the challenge that we're only really going to know if he can pass that test when he gets into that exam room, and that'll probably be in Eugene. I do think Oregon's going to score on you. I don't think there's going to be some scenario where you absolutely house Oregon. That just doesn't seem to me to be the case. Oregon's starting to get going a little bit. Boise State actually looks pretty dang good, and so I think maybe that game, they get a little bit more credit for that game than they should, now that we have a little bit of more data on Boise State. You mentioned the plays. This is probably where Ryan Day would like to be play-wise. They had 75 plays in the game against Michigan State. That's getting to the point where I'm guessing he's happy with that, in that 75 number. There's been several times where we were in the 50s and 60s, and 75 plays is getting it done. Rush game, you're talking about 5.3 a carry, yards per pass attempt 7.5. You can live with all of those things, and you can be pretty dynamic. There's nothing here that is particularly bothersome other than just a little bit of the third down stuff offensively, and then just the fact that you haven't been tested. And you're going to get the one thing that is nice, and I've lamented the schedule or lack thereof a lot here in the first month. The one thing I'll say is every game is going to get better and the opponent gets tougher. So Michigan State, better than anybody you've seen. Iowa will be better than anybody you've seen. Rest assured, Oregon will be the best of the teams you see. And by the time it's all said and done, they might be the best team that you play on your schedule all season long. So you're going to figure out just how good you are in a couple of weeks, and you're going to get punched in the mouth Saturday against Iowa. How do you respond to that will be very interesting to lead us to believe how we're going to feel going into that game in Eugene. There was an absolute haymaker of a game on Saturday night that certainly captured the attention of all of college football and really the sports world in general. We will get to that. The Browns and the Bengals went in opposite directions on Sunday. We'll get into both of those two teams coming up at 10 o'clock. Bishop and Friends right here on The Fan.
A lot has changed in 30 years, but we're still that old shoe that feels worn in and well-loved. And, well, we smell a little, but you've accepted that. The Fan.
If you're struggling with ED or your performance is down and your belly fat is growing, listen up. You've got one life. Now is the time to act.
At the Columbus Men's Clinic, we're not just healthcare, we're your secret weapon. Don't wait another day. Here's why you need to act right now.
Every moment you delay, your condition could worsen. It's not just about sex, it's about your heart, your relationship, your life.
The Columbus Men's Clinic has over 10 years of proven results for low testosterone and increasing drive, energy level, and performance. We've introduced ED and enhancement treatments so exclusive, you'll wonder why you waited.
Procrastination is the thief of time. When it comes to your sexual health, you can't afford to wait. Join the League of Gentlemen who've walked out of our doors with a swagger.
Call the Columbus Men's Clinic at 614-300-7400 or visit columbusmensclinic.com. Book your $99 male performance consultation now, including blood work. Call 614-300-7400 or visit columbusmensclinic.com. The Columbus Men's Clinic, making it happen.
Open a Platinum Rewards Visa at Kemba Financial Credit Union and secure super low everyday rates so you can pay down debt faster. Apply now at Kemba.org to unlock 2% cash back on purchases for a limited time and pay 0% interest for a full year on balance transfers plus exclusive perks. Restrictions apply. Offer ends October 31st, 2024.
Hey, what's up? It's T-Bone. If you need a new roof but you're not sure you can afford it, no problem. Right now, Able Roof is offering no payments, no interest until 2026 for qualified buyers. Yep, that's the same Able Roof that's been voted the #1 roofing company in Columbus by Consumer Choice Awards 22 years in a row. Want more? Able Roof will give you up to $1,000 off a new roof, siding, or windows. This is a limited time offer, so call Able Roof today.
Call Able for the proof. 444 Roof.
Giant Eagle is making it easy to surround yourself with savings with new low prices on hundreds of your favorite produce items like pineapples, avocados, navel oranges, and lettuce. at your neighborhood Giant Eagle.
Join Skip Mossick, Paul Keels, and Jim Lachey for 2 whole hours of scarlet and gray goodness.
Thank you, football guy.
Buckeye Roundtable, Monday night at 6.
Presented by Burger King.
Your flagship home for Ohio State athletics. The Fan.
Hey, what's up? It's T-Bone. Guys, listen up. How many of you out there have been diagnosed with sleep apnea? Maybe your partner can't tolerate your snoring every single night. You can't stand your CPAP machine. I get it. But there are alternatives to the CPAP machine, and Dr. Mark Levy is here to change your sleep and your life. Trust me, your spouse will thank you later. Dr. Mark Levy can customize an oral appliance that opens your airways, helps you breathe better, and stops your snoring. What a concept. It's quick, comfortable, and an alternative to those bulky, loud CPAP machines you always hear about. For over 15 years, Dr. Mark Levy has led the way when it comes to treating snoring and sleep apnea, and he has a track record to prove it. If you're snoring and not sleeping, you need to call Dr. Mark Levy's office today. And as the end of the year approaches, a lot of people have exceeded their medical deductibles, which means less out of pocket for you. Don't delay. Schedule your appointment today with Dr. Mark Levy at 1-800-MORE-SLEEP. That's 1-800-MORE-SLEEP. Or you can visit him online at sleepbettercolumbus.com. 1-800-MORE-SLEEP or sleepbettercolumbus.com.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Subscription required. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hey guys, did you know there's a generic form of Viagra that works just the same but is 95% cheaper? And you can get it online at hims.com/joy. Through Hims, you'll get a free medical consultation to determine the ED medication that's best for you. Discreet shipping if prescribed, a 100% online process, and a range of treatment options, including trusted generic alternatives to the name brands, at up to 95% off. ED is personal, and at Hims, so is treating it. Just go to hims.com/joy and get connected to a licensed medical provider online for free, with zero copay, no expensive appointments, and no awkward face-to-face conversations. To start your free online visit, you need to go to this exclusive address, hims.com/joy. That's hims.com/joy for your free online visit. hims.com/joy.
It's almost Football Friday. All play and no work.
Sponsored by Tansky's Sawmill Toyota.
Your home for football, The Fan. Keep your friends close and your producers closer. You're listening to Bishop and Friends.
And we're sponsored by Awaken 180 Weight Loss, fast, sustainable weight loss without the medications. The solution for weight loss, Awaken 180 Weight Loss. That, my friends, is my good buddy Buford T. Justice would say was an attention getter. It was an attention getter in the way that it started. I'm not sure that anyone would have thought Alabama would go up 21-0 on Georgia. I'm not sure anyone would have Alabama up 32-7 on Georgia at half. And conversely, I don't think anybody would have had Georgia coming all the way back the way that they did. The game truly had it all. I cannot imagine what Saturday night and Sunday morning would have been like for Kalen DeBoer had Ryan Williams not made the play that he made in that game, or if they had not gotten that last stop. I don't know. I mean, you think about the pressure of that. Saban is sitting there watching it. Saban is at halftime. Think about what Kalen DeBoer signed up for. I mean, you're following Saban, and he's commenting on your games. He's sitting in a booth with his family on your games. College Game Day is there. He's picking your team. He's at halftime commenting on what he saw. The pressure is absurd. The thing about Kalen DeBoer, though, is he's a really good football coach. And offensively, he's might be a borderline genius, because what they're doing offensively and what Jalen Milroe has done in terms of growth is absolutely exceptional. We'll hear from Kalen DeBoer. Let's start with him. A victory that was as thrilling as any could be on a Saturday night.
Yeah, you bet. Heck of a game. A lot happening there all game long. So a lot of energy that was put out there by coaches and players, and proud of the way, we played. It took 4 quarters. And obviously, there's some times where they made a run there, and the second half in particular. But, just proud of the way our guys kept fighting, kept playing. I think we continue to learn every single play and grow, and you see that at the end with ZB's, interception. Just guys saw it a couple times, them throwing the ball up in the air and really just laying it up there, maybe even sometimes underthrowing it, and just in great position. We expect to win games, these games. And, so of course the locker room's full of excitement, but I also, want to make sure that we understand that's the expectation. And, there's a lot of season left. And so want to make sure we don't blow all our energy into this win and make sure we can handle success and get ready for next week.
Reese, I know we'll do higher or lower later in the week. Have you peeked at where Georgia fell to?
5.
Yeah. That's because of the comeback. If they push their chips in and just take it on the chin, they probably drop to 8 or 9 or 10, somewhere like that. But they didn't. They fought. I thought they were going to win until they didn't. I truly did. I thought they were going to win 42-41. I thought that Kirby would go for 2 and he would go for the win. Turns out they didn't have to because a corner turned his head and made a throw, or made an interception rather, and that sealed it. But until that point, I thought Georgia was going to win the way that they played the fourth quarter of that game. Here's Kirby Smart on the fight of his team.
Well, there's no greater response of a leader than to be with the guys who go to battle with you. And those kids went to battle tonight. Look, no mistake about it. That group we got in there, man, they're connected. They're proud. They got pride. And I told them, I said, guys, I don't know what this second half's going to look like. But I do know this. When we watch it, we're going to find out a lot about ourselves. We're going to see what kind of character we got. And I'll be honest with you, I thought we were a team that was in really good shape. And I thought that we could play them into the fourth quarter once we had we were in the situation we were. We just had to get one moment at a time. And I didn't want to walk off the field without, telling each one of them how much I appreciated how they responded to. It was pretty tough adversity there.
Couple of things. Number one, I'm envious of the environment because we're not going to have an opportunity to have one like that here because our biggest games are noon. And so you're not going to have the lights out and you're not going to have just everything that comes with a night game on campus at the highest level. You're not going to have those type of games. And here's the reality of it. The SEC is going to have a lot of those games because ABC is going to put these games in prime time over and over and over again, and they're going to rate big, big, big. And so you're at the mercy of your television provider on that. So I'm envious of Saturday nights under the lights and everything that comes with that. You're going to get it against Oregon, but that's it. You're not going to have another one, and that's going to have that type of juice to it. And it's not obviously here. The Oregon game's not going to be here, and so that I'm envious of. The one that I told you so is coming, and that is 9-3 versus 11-1. Georgia's schedule is nuts. They still have to play Texas. They still have to play Tennessee. They still have to play Ole Miss, although maybe that doesn't mean exactly what it used to. I think it's a safe bet that Georgia will lose another game this year in the regular season. I think it's more of a safe bet that they'll lose another game rather than that they'll win out. And so how does a committee tasked with comparing teams who aren't playing similar schedules, who's good and who's not? They're going to give the benefit of the doubt to games that deliver the way that one did. And because Georgia came back, they, I think, can have that second loss and be just fine, Reese.
Yeah, the idea that they made it a 34-33 ball game, I think,
took the lead.
Puts it in everybody's minds that these two teams are two of the best. And so there isn't right now, as we sit the last day of September, a doubt in my mind that Alabama and Georgia will be in the college football playoff. And I agree with you. Like, Georgia's going to take another loss. Like,
Bama could lose twice.
Bama could as well. Georgia could have a close loss to Texas. And Ole Miss, they had a really bad day against Kentucky, but if Ole Miss is able to spring one or two of those upsets, like it becomes a thing where I had thought when you first said that the SEC was going to go out there and say our 9-3 is better than whatever schedule you could probably put together. I was like, yeah, they might start churning that machine out in November. I think that's what they're handing out with their Halloween candy. It may be even before that. Yeah. Where now you can go into Walmart or you can go into Kroger and get your Halloween candy with a side of the SEC. Whatever we put on any given week is better than whatever you've got. And our strength of schedule is so much more than any other conference in the country. Of all the other Power Four, the SEC's got everything you could possibly want from a college football standpoint. Great teams, great players, great fans, great environments. Hey, television networks, isn't that what you want?
Well, to your point, and to the point that you and I have made many, many times, go look at the weekend we play Oregon. Okay?
We might be the only ones looking at that.
Well, how the hell does the Big Ten not spread these games out a little bit? Penn State plays USC that weekend. How are look what the Big Ten did this weekend, guys. They had Ohio State, Michigan State compete with Penn State, Illinois. They were both on NBC. One was on a streaming service, and the other one was on NBC. They competed against each other. What are we doing? What are we doing? Prop up your teams a little bit. Ohio State, Michigan State should have been on big NBC. It should have been. I know it's not because they're trying to get all of you to buy Peacock, and I get it. By the way, if you're going to do live sports, then damn it, your app's got to be better than that. Your app's got to be better than that. It was not, for me, it wasn't clean. Was it clean for you guys?
I didn't have any issues.
Okay, I did. And maybe just because, I feel like I got the fastest internet the world will allow.
So that was going to be my question, because I still have rabbit ears, and so I had the rabbit ears with Bama, Georgia, which saved my ass. Because, the bandwidth on that thing, I don't know if you have enough for computer, Peacock app, and then whatever else you're running in your house.
I had to stream 3 of them. Oh. Was yours clean, Cole?
Yeah, we had it here at the station. It was pretty clean.
It was clean?
Another thing that should be, more top dollar should be your broadcast team.
I love Andrew Siciliano. I think he's done really good on the Browns. I thought Colt McCoy was just wildly ill-prepared. And I didn't think that, honestly, that he had any idea of what the modern college football landscape. At one point he said about James Peoples, he could have gone anywhere. He chose to come to Ohio State, as if like he chose to go to Bowling Green.
I mean, you can copy and paste that comment to every single player.
The hell are you talking about?
Ohio State's 3 deep.
He could have gone anywhere. Do you know how recruiting works, dude? Just ill-prepared. Ill-prepared. Yeah, no, it was not clean on a lot of levels. All right, coming up next, second hour of the program, Austin Ward, 10:33. We'll do 3 up and 3 down in college football, but a brutal loss for the Cleveland Browns and a much-needed win for the Cincinnati Bengals. We'll get into both coming up next. Bishop and Friends right here on The Fan.
We're your radio home for the Buckeyes, Browns, and all the NFL games you can handle. We may have a bit of a football problem. Oh, yeah? The Fan, Ohio sports destination.
We are Ortho Alliance. Together, we deliver the most experienced orthopedic care near you and throughout Central Ohio. Together, we provide expert care when you need it with same-day and next-day appointments. We put our patients' care first, from physical therapy to the most challenging joint replacement surgeries. We are JIS Orthopedics, Ortho Neuro, Orthopedic Associates of Zanesville, Orthopedic Foot and Ankle Center, and Orthopedic Specialists in Sports Medicine. And we are better together. Visit orthoalliance.com or call 877-WE-ARE-OA.
Busy schedule? This is Ryan Krieger, and Krieger Ford has you covered. Krieger Ford offers pickup and delivery, or our mobile service van will come right to you. It's fast, easy, and hassle-free. Schedule your appointment today only at KriegerFord.com.
Our clients deserve for us to care, and they deserve to feel serviced. They have questions, and they deserve answers. We're counselors first because I'm not selling them anything. I'm trying to teach clients how to protect themselves. At Kurgis & Associates, we're personal injury attorneys. We've helped and continue to help hundreds and hundreds of clients every year. That's important to us. If you've been injured in an accident and it's not your fault, call now. 614-GOT-HURT. That's 614-GOT-HURT. Kurgis & Associates. Attorneys who care.
Chaps here, and yeah, I'm about to be a dad. First kid, a baby boy. It's a big deal, right? Honestly, I didn't think too much about my health before, but maybe, just maybe, I knew something was coming. That's probably why I dropped 95 pounds last year with Awaken 180 weight loss. Perfect timing, because now I won't be lugging around all that extra weight while trying to keep up with a toddler scampering around my feet. And look, I know there are some sleepless nights coming. Bring them on. I've got the energy for it now, and I'll be ready to roll thanks to getting my health in check with Awaken 180. Maybe you've already got kids, maybe yours are grown, or maybe the parenting life isn't for you. Either way, here's the deal. Life is just better. Your health will be better when you're not carrying around a bunch of extra weight. Awaken 180 is a whole new ballgame. Get on it like we all have. It's fast, easy, and you'll keep it off thanks to free support for life. Visit awaken180weightloss.com. That's awaken180weightloss.com or call 844-346-1800.
James Laurinaitis here for my guys at Green & Sons, the premier Kubota dealership in Central Ohio. I love my Kubota tractor, RTV, and zero-turn I got from Green & Sons, and you can check them out online at greenandsons.com or visit them in store in Mount Sterling or north of Marysville in Raymond for all your Kubota needs.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling.
I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-575-6759. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS. Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start. Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems. We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau. You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call 800-575-6759. That's 800-575-6759. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
Broadcasting from the Lindsay Honda Studios.
Honda makes the cars. Lindsay makes the difference. Visit lindsayhonda.com.
WBNS-FM, HD1 Columbus. The Fan. Sports Center.
Good morning. I'm Eric Reeser. Ohio State remained at 3 in the AP Top 25. Buckeyes improved to 4-0 on the season thanks to a 38-7 win at Michigan State in Week 5. OSU's a 20.5-point favorite this Saturday, hosting Iowa at 3:30. Hear from Ryan Day tonight around 6:30. He'll join Skip Moss at Paul Keels and Jim Lachey on Buckeye Roundtable. At 6:45 on the Fan, Blue Jackets hockey will take over for preseason Game 5. Jackets will host the Washington Capitals at 7. Columbus is 3-1 in the preseason and will begin the regular season next Thursday at Minnesota. In the NFL tonight, a Monday night doubleheader starts at 7:30 in Miami with the Dolphins hosting the Titans. Tyler Huntley will start at quarterback for Miami. At 8:15 in Detroit, the Lions will host the Seattle Seahawks. This update sponsored by BMI Federal Credit Union. Earn a $300 cash bonus at BMI Federal Credit Union when you open a new free checking account. Visit bmifcu.org/free.
Are you fired up? Is it Monday? It must be Reaction Monday.
Sponsored by the Roofing Guys.
The Fan, Ohio sports destination. Don't be fooled by the name. Chops and Reeser are just acquaintances.
Are you guys just co-workers? It should be Bishop and acquaintances.
And acquaintances.
That's what it should be.
I
guess Bishop and Friends sounds better.
You're listening to Bishop and Friends.
Well, as it turns out, the technical difficulties CBS was experiencing just continued throughout the entire game for the Cleveland Browns. Started well enough, Reese. 10-zip.
And open and drive, baby.
Yeah, hey, let's play the Raiders. They're without Devontae Adams. They're without Max Crosby. Let's bludgeon the Raiders, and let's get back to 2-2 and then start to wrap our head around playing Jaden Daniels in Washington next week, who's just a straight-up buzzsaw. Folks, and we'll do more NFL tomorrow. Tomorrow's the heavy NFL show, but Daniels' start to his season is better than any quarterback ever. No, full stop.
Since
not
football
rookie,
has been played,
not qualifier, ever. So there's that.
I'm looking forward to it as a Browns fan because if they want to copy and paste the defensive performance yesterday to next Sunday, Jaden Daniels is going to have a monster numbers.
Well, so I don't even know how to evaluate it. I don't know how to evaluate this team other than it's bad. It's one of the worst teams in the NFL. That much we know. I think it's a bottom 3 or 4 team in the NFL. I have this conversation with my kids all the time, and those of you out there with children probably do as well. So here's an example. We have these throw pillows on the couches, and the kids refuse when they lay on them or whatever, and then they throw them on the ground. And over the last month, I've tried to be like, I'm making a point of like, hey, dudes, pick those up. Like, you don't leave them on the floor. Then Buddy lays on them, like all of that. Just put them up back on the couches, right? So last night, yesterday afternoon, we were watching the game, and they left. And probably 30 minutes earlier, I said, guys, why is this pillow on the ground, right? So they go, I don't know. I did it. He did it. I did it. Duh, duh. So 30 minutes pass, and there's another pillow on the ground. And I'm like, dudes, what are you doing? I'm like, that's it. You all lose 15 minutes off your bedtime. And NBC goes, but Dad, that's not even a big deal. And I'm like, no, it's not. But if you let little things stack up, little things become big things. And I think the Cleveland Browns in August and in September let little things multiply over and over and over. And now the little things are who they are. They're a really bad offensive line team. They're bad. They're a really poor tackling team. they are. They have allowed really poor quarterback play to be passable for the better part of the first month and even at times some of last year. And so all of those little things stack and become big things. Now all of a sudden Amari Cooper can't catch a football. I don't know why. I mean, it hits him in the right between the numbers. It bounced right off of him and ends up in a pick six. The defense has a trouble tackling. I mean, Vegas was one of the worst rushing teams in the league. They ran it 29 for 152, 5 a tote against you. Okay? They don't have Marcus Allen and Bo Jackson. They have Zamir White. They have Alexander Mattison and DJ Turner. They ran it with Brock Bowers, for God's sakes. I don't know who the hell Tariq McAllister is. He ran it twice. They ran it up and down on you. The crazy thing about this is, as we got done watching the game, after Watson inexplicably takes a sack on 4th in the game, just can't do it. He's got the tight end right away, just rip it. But he's not comfortable ripping it. Deshaun Watson needs guys to be open, or he needs to be on the run, or he needs to see it open before it rips it. And at the end of the game, I said, Watson actually played pretty good. I don't think this one's on him. He was pretty efficient. And then I went and looked at the numbers, and it's 24-32, 176, 5.5 an attempt. And you say to yourself, well, yeah, it was all underneath. Now, it could have been a lot better if the little things don't become big things, right? The little things like the Amari drop that ends up in a pick six, that would have looked a lot better. You'd had 30 yards on that. How about the hold on Nick Harris? Is that a hold? No, probably not. Probably not in that moment. It probably shouldn't have been. But guess what? If you're relying on little things, they eventually become big things. And you do not deserve the right to get the benefit of the doubt for the officials because you've messed up so many things previous to that.
Yeah.
So this is who they are.
That hold that calls back that Amari Cooper touchdown is the ultimate Browns is the Browns moment, because it's so ticky-tack, but it's so Cleveland. Like that's just a microcosm of the Cleveland Browns over 20 years, and it's like you cannot rely on officials to help or bail you out of situations. No. You have to have all your fundamentals in line before a game like this, and just over the past couple of weeks, they just, like you said, so many little things become at a big moment in a game where you need to have it, and your quarterback and your wide receiver finally connect on something. You don't have it up front, and it kills you.
I actually thought the O-line play was better in the
all
game
things considered
against the Raiders, but they didn't have Max Crosby. Like, it would be. I thought actually Watson responded to Christian Wilkins, who was in his ear nonstop, and actually stole his towel at one point. I thought Watson kind of responded to that a little bit.
Didn't he do that at like Clemson and Miami too? He would just steal towels from players. Am I thinking of another defensive tackle?
Well, he would always, yeah. And they were on the same team together at Clemson. So like they were laughing and jawing back and forth. So there was a little bit of that. I don't think it was on him, but he also isn't an elevator. He doesn't elevate. And he's got a simple read to Akins on the corner, and he just doesn't throw it. It's there. Just throw the damn football. The guy's NFL open, put it on his outside shoulder, and it's a touchdown, and you win the game, and no one's talking the way we're talking today. Stefanski post-game. Let's get back to the basics. Here you go.
We just have to focus on getting better. As you know, these games always come down to a few plays, and we have to do the things that cause you to win games, and protecting the football, getting it on defense, obviously tackling, the basics. We got to get back to the basics in order to come away with a win.
Here's Deshaun Watson post-game on the offense needing to improve.
Just everything, we're not doing enough. So, it starts with me. If I'm going to be the quarterback of this offense, we all got to be, all the way locked in. And, right now we're not doing enough to get the W. So, you can put it on me for sure.
Meantime, and we'll have much more on the Browns tomorrow. Kevin Stefanski will talk today with an injury update, kind of see where all of that is. It seemed like there potentially could be some decent Nick Chubb news in the next couple of weeks, and God knows they could use him as big as anybody. But the other thing, well, we'll save the Browns chatter for tomorrow at more in depth. The Bengals get a win. They go down to Carolina, get a win over the Panthers pretty convincingly, win by 10. They started to get rolling a little bit. You're starting to see what this team is all about. Jamar Chase had one of the most superb touchdowns you'll see. Zach Taylor on Jamar, and the offense starting to get unlocked a little bit.
It's amazing. I mean, that's what he's capable of. And when you can just throw a simple backside end breaker, You know, I believe they were clouding him on that play, if I'm remembering correctly. And Joe had all day to let him clear the window and really get to the backside of the progression. And then for Jamar to, again, I haven't seen it live, but to break all those tackles and have the contact balance that he has, it's contact balance and then explosiveness, which is so difficult to put all together in one snap. And so that's what Jamar did. He starts on the backside of the play, runs an end breaker, great catch, great tackle breaking ability, great acceleration to go finish the run down the field, enough energy to sprint back to the sidelines, you know, so that just speaks to who Jamar is.
It certainly does. This was win number 1 for the Bengals. It was necessary. It was needed. We're going to talk about who they got next week coming up in just a second. But here's Burrow on getting that win number 1 finally.
Yeah, it was a big game. We knew we had to come and get one, especially, you know, with Baltimore coming to town next week. There was really no other option other than to figure out a way to win this game. So, you know, we got it done. You know, still a lot of room to improve on both sides of the ball and special teams. So, that's exciting. You know, we got to win, but what's most exciting is just the opportunity to continue to get better.
That's the thing that's really tricky about the North at this moment. Cincinnati has played 2 really good games prior to this and lost, but have shown signs, certainly at Kansas City in a close 26-25 loss, and then lost to the Commies, who are, quite honestly, a buzzsaw at this point that nobody saw coming. But they're finding themselves, Cincinnati is, and looking like what everybody expected them to be. If you watched Sunday Night Football last night, you know that Baltimore found itself. They're now 2-2. And furthermore, Pittsburgh, down big, has a quarterback. Was it completely clean for Justin Fields? No, you don't take that sack when he took the sack. There's some things here and there. Certainly can't have that fumble. But at the same time, like, Justin Fields over a month in Pittsburgh has been turned into what I think we all thought he would be all along, which is a legitimate threat and pro quarterback. And they fought back. They lost to Indy, but they were in the mix despite being down big early. And the thing that salts the wound even more from a Browns fan perspective is who quarterbacked Indy.
Don't do that. Don't on this day, on this Reaction Monday where you're celebrating an Ohio State win. I'm seeing in the YouTube chat as well. They're throwing it out there. Joe Flacco was 16-26 for 168 yards and 2 touchdowns. Thanks, Jeff.
And he converted some tough third downs.
I know.
Some tough third downs against my Steelers.
Yeah.
I was impressed with Joe Flacco.
Yeah. Everyone's impressed with Joe Flacco. So that's great. Love that. Love that for everybody else.
Yeah. The hole, and we'll talk more about the NFL tomorrow on the NFL Heavy Show, the hole that the Browns have dug themselves is quite honestly enormous. Cincinnati can go to Baltimore next week and get to 2-3. Pittsburgh's in very, very good shape going forward. The Browns are an absolute mess at this point, a month into the season. College football delivered about as big as it could be. Your 3 up for this Reaction Monday coming up next. Included in that, the powers of the sport in very, very good shape heading into October. Bishop and Friends right here on The Fan.
We have so many local shows, I can't fit them in a 10-second promo. So let's just say we're live and local all damn day. The Fan.
Men, here are a few statistics about erectile dysfunction. First, half of men over age 50 have it, with even more of us affected as we get into our 60s and beyond. ED can also impact younger men, even in their 30s, which makes it one of the most pervasive conditions in medicine. This is Jeff for Tri-State Men's Health, and statistics are one thing, but it's the emotional toll on relationships and the impact on a man's confidence and self-esteem that are the true tragedies of erectile dysfunction. This is why you need to get treated for your ED, but where you get treated is just as important as getting treated, because who you trust for your health care is critical. At Tri-State Men's Health, men's sexual health is our focus. Our providers are experts in treating ED, and we offer the complete range of treatment options with protocols that are effective in well over 90% of cases, which means you can get your sex life back. So call us. Your first visit is just $99 and includes blood work, a medical consult, and if medically advised, a test dose. And if that test dose doesn't work in the office, your visit is free. Call 800-900-9654 or go to tristatemenshealth.com.
Would you believe that giraffes are 30 times more likely to get hit by lightning than people? Or that a single cloud can weigh 550 tons or more? Sounds fake, right? How about an insurance company that actually treats you right? Sounds unbelievable, but it's true. NJM Insurance is proud to put policyholders first. And they don't use jingles or mascots either. Don't believe me? Well, guess what? Everything in this commercial is true and approved by the legal department. No jingles or mascots, just great insurance. Visit NJM.com for a quote.
Columbus, the wait is over. Blue Jackets hockey is back. Come feel the boom all season long. Be here Tuesday, October 15th for the home opener, presented by Nationwide. Get your tickets today at BlueJackets.com.
Hey, Bobby Carpenter here from Carpenter Heating, Cooling, Plumbing, and Electric, announcing our $99 home preventative maintenance checkup. Carpenter & Bryant will do whatever it takes to get you ready for the fall and winter ahead. Check us out at CarpenterColumbus.com. That's CarpenterColumbus.com.
Rothman and Ice.
Kind of an elbow into the portal kind of deal. Hey, there's an opening over there. There's a door. It's going to open up. You hop in, and then it'll send you, somewhere.
Rothman and Ice. Weekdays at noon.
Sponsored by Pella Columbus.
The Fan.
At Kroger Pharmacy, CARE is making it easy to get vaccinated. CARE is helping you stay protected from flu, COVID, and RSV. Seasonal vaccines are available 7 days a week with evening hours. CARE is giving you a shot at staying healthy this season. Walk in whenever is best and get multiple vaccines in one visit at your local Kroger Pharmacy. So come and get the protection you need while protecting those around you. Kroger Health, a world of care is in store. Visit Kroger.com/vaccines for more. Restrictions and exclusions apply. See site for details.
At Roof Revivers, we save not only your roof, but your money too. Whether you need a quick repair or a full replacement, we've got you covered. While many companies jump straight to replacements, we always start with repairs. Replacements, that's our last resort. We'll provide a clear, detailed explanation of what your roof needs, complete with photos, so you know exactly why. With over 350 five-star reviews on Google, honesty is at the heart of everything we do. Roof Revivers is ready to work for you. Visit roofrevivers.com today. Roof Revivers, we fix leaky roofs.
Scott from the Cleveland area has coached girls basketball and supported his granddaughter's athletic pursuits.
My granddaughters have worked hard to excel in sports. It's tough enough. So the idea that Sherrod Brown voted to allow transgender biological men to compete in girls' sports, it's unfair and dangerous. And introducing a bill to allow biological men in girls' locker rooms? Biological men to shower in my granddaughter's locker room? No way. I worry about the safety of my family constantly. Now I have to worry about Sherrod Brown's crazy liberal ideas. I thought Sherrod Brown was on my side, but he's way too liberal for me.
Sherrod Brown has let Ohio down. Now he's way too liberal for Ohio. Senate Leadership Fund paid for and is responsible for the content of this advertising, not authorized by any candidate or candidates committee. www.senateleadershipfund.org.
Longing for thick, healthy, gorgeous hair? Say goodbye to shedding thin and dull hair and hello to thick, healthy hair with Hair Volume from New Nordic.
Fan weather.
From the Logan AC and Heat Services Weather Center.
Here's a look at that weather report on your Monday. Cloudy along with showers, high 77. We're still dealing with the remnants of Helene today and possibly tomorrow, although Tuesday will be the drier of the 2 days. 79 tomorrow, along with a 20% chance of rain. Sunshine is back by Wednesday and Thursday. I'm meteorologist Dylan Robichaud with your 10 TV weather impact forecast on 97.1 The Fan.
We've been your Jackets flagship station since day one. All the goals, all the action, all the memories. Your home for the Columbus Blue Jackets, the Fan, Ohio sports destination. Not interested in Iowa football? Too bad. Shops will tell you about it anyway. This is Bishop and Friends.
I was complaining several times throughout the weekend at just the amount of rain and grayness that we undertook. And then I saw a buddy of mine's post from the Tampa area, and he said, if anyone has a boat that is able to get from the mainland to some sort of islet where his parents' home is, they need to get there to assess damages. And then I went, Helene says, hold your beer. Just unbelievable damage, my God, throughout the Carolinas. And holy hell, there's just nothing. I've lived through them. There's nothing more terrifying and helpless than watching water rise, like when you can see it happening, to see something go from dry land to 11 inches underwater, a foot underwater, 2 feet underwater, and all of a sudden streets become rivers. There's very few things that are more helpless than when Mother Nature goes like that. So certainly thoughts and prayers. And if you can donate to the Red Cross and the people trying to do the cleanup efforts, and please do so, because this is a incredible natural disaster that has happened throughout the southern part of this United States. All right, 3 up on college football. Number 1 for me, guys, I think it's the top of the Big Ten. I think at the top of the Big Ten had a really nice weekend, appointed themselves very well. Obviously, Ohio State took care of business, got cover city against Michigan State. I thought Penn State, it was a pretty James Franklin-y performance. When we saw that line, I just thought it just seemed way too big, and I just didn't think that Franklin is capable of that. Illinois hung around, but eventually Penn State was able to win. Oregon got off to a very quick start at UCLA. They did not cover, but they kind of just took the foot off the gas. That game didn't start until 11 o'clock at night, so I think it was a very good job out of the Ducks as they've navigated their schedule and to be undefeated into October. Michigan gets lucky. Quite honestly, very lucky to beat Minnesota. They survive an onside kick and what was just a piss poor call. It just was. It was just an awful call to call offsides on the Minnesota onside kick and not to call that the straight way. And then the other one was USC. USC was down big at home to Wisconsin and rallied to not only win but cover. They ended up kind of blowing out Fick and the Badgers. So I thought Ohio State, Penn State, Oregon, Michigan, USC, the top of the Big Ten. At least 3 of those teams are playoff teams, maybe 4, appointed themselves very well this weekend, fellas.
Yeah, that especially for Penn State, with everything everything that was last week with James Franklin and Brett Bielema to kind of suffocate I think what was a red-hot Fighting Illini team during a whiteout. You couldn't drop that game after everything had been said. You couldn't drop that game. I think they were 20-point favorites or something.
It's too much.
In a ranked matchup, so you were never going to cover that. But just to get the win at home like that, you give at least confidence with a 4-0 record.
USC's a real mystery for me. I can't really figure them out. I was really impressed with Miller Moss week 1 against LSU.
Yeah.
But losing to Michigan, such a one-dimensional team last week, and Miller Moss got beat up badly. They lost horribly on the line of scrimmage in that game. And then if you saw the final score of the Wisconsin game with USC this weekend, you would have no idea that Wisconsin was dominating the scoreboard for half the game. So yeah. I'm not really sure where I stand with USC, but definitely a team I want to see a little bit more of.
I'm still surprised that Penn State won't let Drew Aller really spin it. A lot of underneath stuff, 15-21, 135. Like, at some point, they have got to let him be what he is. And it's check down Charlie. It's everything's safe. Like, I don't know. I think there's more to him than we're seeing, certainly. But them running at 44 for 239, 5.5 a clip. Katron Allen at 18 for 102. Nick Singleton 16 and 94. That'll get it done, certainly, against a very game-fighting Illini. As for your comment about USC, Cole, they are. I just think that's kind of what they're going to be is just kind of inconsistent. But that's why I thought it was so important for them to show the fight against Wisconsin, because they've got a quality win against an SEC opponent already in LSU under the belt. They lost a close one in the Big House, and now that they win that game against Wisconsin, that would have been a brutal one to lose. You'd be out of the mix in terms of making the playoff. USC can kind of stay in that dance a little longer, and I think all of those things help the Big Ten long term. I also thought the top of the SEC showed what it's all about with that game on Saturday night between Alabama and Georgia. Texas, little sluggish with Mississippi State, but then pulled away. And remember, no Quinn Ewers, Arch Manning, who's been superb as a backup, came in and again played very, very clean ball. But I thought he handled himself very well. I also thought Oklahoma rallying to win with a freshman quarterback at Auburn, and Auburn's trash. Don't let anyone tell you they're not trash. They are. But what that does is it allows for the Red River game to be ranked versus ranked. So that helps with perception a lot. Bama beating Georgia the way they did. Georgia fighting back. Georgia drops only to what? 5?
They're 5th.
So, yeah. So they're just fine. The only thing that hurt the top of the SEC was Ole Miss getting beaten at home by Kentucky. But the dialogue you're going to hear from down there is that Kentucky's good.
And they've got the Georgia film to kind of back it up.
Yeah.
Where you got that, the close game, and the week after Kentucky, Georgia, the Wildcats went out and bludgeoned my Ohio Bobcats. So you're able to have that argument for now. I also think with Oklahoma, Michael Hawkins was a much needed, I think, elixir for the Sooners. I I think now you have. I know Texas is off because they're going to start Ewers and the can't call it a shootout, but Oklahoma's got a week off as well. So I think that they put 2 touchdowns on Auburn in that fourth quarter. I think it's a great jumping off point into a bye and to get things. I mean, I don't know if Oklahoma's good right now. I know they're ranked. So to your point, helps that it'll have 2 numbers in front of the can't call it a shootout. But yeah, top of that conference looks good.
I'm a huge fan of Texas after what they did to Michigan, dominating them on the line of scrimmage on both ends. So I'm waiting for Texas to have another big game, and it's coming up soon. They got Georgia at some point here.
Dude, they go Red River Shootout, Georgia back-to-back.
Yeah. Dude, I mean,
buckle up.
They're awesome. Tennessee looks really good, and I don't even think they played this weekend, but
they did not.
And they deserved it. They deserve a week off for the number that they put on Oklahoma. I'll give this to Kentucky. Mark Stoops can get his team to come up for a game. That's all I'll say. I don't think they're actually good, but Mark Stoops, decent coach in general. The expectations at Kentucky, not the same as their basketball program.
No, second, eighth fiddle to the basketball program. That's a brutal loss for Kiffin. We'll get to that in 3 down. 2 names to look for in the portal. Preston Stone, who was the big-time quarterback at SMU. He was benched earlier this season. Watch for him. The guy playing in his spot has done really well as SMU bludgeoned Florida State. Remember, they were so excited to play that game. FSU just completely sucks. And then Jackson Arnold at Oklahoma, because he's not getting the job back. And he was one of the top recruits in the country, so he'll be in the portal as well. Speaking of being in the portal, Colorado, good win out of you, Dion. Very good win. They went down to UCF and buried the Knights. The Knights have been playing very well. That was one of those ones where you looked at the Colorado schedule and you said, well, feels like an L a little bit there. And instead, they went down there and they won. And what that does for them is it keeps them in the hunt in the Big 12, which is, as we predicted, a mess. And we'll get to that a little bit later. But it also allows for Travis Hunter to stay in the Heisman mix. He popped the Heisman pose after an incredible pick in the game that he had. They're going to get another showcase game. They're off this week, but they are against Kansas State at home on the 12th. So October 12th, if you have plans, cancel them. That day's nuts.
I was
start
looking
to finish
after Colorado beat UCF and thinking to myself, okay, I think I know where Big Noon is on the 12th. If they haven't announced it already, it's K-State at Colorado.
The actual game.
The actual game itself, and I think the crew might go out there, or unless they're
if that crew goes to Kansas State, Colorado, and they don't go to Ohio State, Oregon, and game day goes to Ohio State, Oregon, if we don't have one of the pregame shows, which is in play, because that's Texas, Oklahoma, too, so that's an ESPN game. If you don't have one of the pregame shows, that's shameful.
I'll add one more player to your portal watch, and I never would have guessed this 3 years ago when this guy was cutting into Hassan Haskins and Blake Corum's carries, but Donovan Edwards is not the best running back at Michigan.
He's not. He's on the cover of the game, dude.
Yeah, no kidding. I didn't even think about that.
No, he's one of the 3 cover athletes on the game. He's not. It's funny, I hear Michigan people saying, Alex Orji can throw it. We're holding it off for the Ohio State game.
Who says that?
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I don't think Michigan's very good. I think that they at least have an identity now, and that's about the only credit I'll give them. Austin Ward up next. Bishop and Friends right here on The Fan.
Big voice guy here to remind you that you're listening to The Fan, Ohio sports destination. Okay, thanks. I have 3 more seconds. Bye-bye.
Integrity, honesty, and quality. Words we live by here at Monogram Homes. Hi, this is Dina. And at Monogram Homes, we strive to bring your wants to your man cave, your needs to your kitchen, and your ideas to life. Most home builders claim to be custom, but starting with stock floor plans and templates isn't our idea of a tailored experience. At Monogram Homes, we start with a blank slate and work with you until you get exactly what you want. So start your true custom home journey today with a builder you can trust. Monogram Homes. Visit us online at monogramhomes.net.
Common Man here for Care Heating and Cooling. Weather is unpredictable, but the inside of your home should be comfortable just the way you like it. And the best way to avoid those unnecessary surprises is with a care plan. See, with a care plan, you get priority service, system maintenance in case of an emergency. Just another way to give you and your family peace of mind. And maintaining your systems properly can help save you money. A properly maintained furnace and air conditioner run more efficiently, reducing your utility usage. Regular maintenance also prevents breakdowns and extends the life of your equipment. I'm on the the care plan, and I'm quite the expert. I'll stop by and give your system a once-over. I will. Don't tempt me. I end every commercial the same way, telling you to hire care when you need a company you can trust. It's not just a slogan. That's the care creed. How about this? Lennox. They have thousands of dealers nationwide. HVAC royalty. Last year, Lennox gave Care their coveted Partner of the Year award because they're trusted by their customers and their partners. Care Heating and Cooling. Call 1-800-COOLING or book an appointment online at careheatingandcooling.com when you need a company you can trust.
Giant Eagle is making it easy to surround yourself with savings on hundreds of items every time you shop. With new low prices, deals for days, weekly sales, and My Perks at your neighborhood Giant Eagle. Visit gianteagle.com for details.
Looking to sell your home? Don't pay 6% commission. Call my guys at Sell for 1% Realtors. They're full service, not a do-it-yourself kind of thing. On average, customers save over $10,000. Give them a call, 614-451-6616. That's 451-6616.
Ready for the big game?
Yeah! The Fan Tailgate is back at the Ozone on Lane. Admission is free. Join us for food, fun, and music by the fabulous Johnson Brothers.
Sponsored by your Central Ohio Ford dealers.
Oh, yeah?
Hollywood Casino, Michelob Ultra, Jack Daniels, Pepsi, TNT Equipment, and Tito's Handmade Vodka.
It's game day at the Ozone on Lane. The Fan, Ohio's tailgating destination.
After 31 years in Washington, just how much has Sherrod Brown changed? When he first wanted our vote, he said this.
My allegiance will be to Ohio and to the communities in Ohio.
To Ohio? Sherrod Brown voted for amnesty for 11 million illegal immigrants. And he voted to give them taxpayer-funded benefits, like free health care to illegals who get amnesty, Social Security checks, COVID relief checks, all to be paid for by you. And Sherrod Brown's open border policies have led to more fentanyl, dangerous gangs, even terrorists pouring into our country. So when Sherrod Brown says this,
my allegiance will be to Ohio and to the communities in Ohio.
Don't listen to what Sherrod Brown says. Watch what he does. Because Sherrod Brown doesn't vote for Ohio anymore. He's way too liberal for Ohio. American Crossroads paid for and is responsible for the content of this advertising. Not authorized by any candidate or candidates committee. AmericanCrossroads.org.
Hey, Buckeye fans! As the official wing sponsor of Ohio State Athletics, Roosters is kicking off an incredible giveaway you won't want to miss. This football season, we're giving away 12 ultimate Buckeye experiences. 3 drawings, 12 winners with prizes including tickets, sideline passes, and 2 trips to a Buckeye postseason game. Go to roosterswings.com to register and see all the details. 3 drawings, 12 amazing prizes. Register today and every day. Roosters, a fun, casual joint.
The season may be winding down, but there's still time to make the most of Buckeye Lake. At Buckeye Lake Marina, we have year-end deals on boats, accessories, and more to get you ready for next year's adventures. Looking to upgrade? The Buckeye Lake Marina staff is there to help you find the perfect boat at unbeatable prices. Buckeye Lake Marina has a long list of satisfied customers and want you to be the next. Don't wait. Sail into savings at Buckeye Lake Marina before the year ends and find the boat that's just right for you. Visit BuckeyeLakeMarina.com for more.
Common Man here for Jermaine Lexus of Dublin and Easton. Fall is here. It's still warm and dry and everything's brown. But yay, fall. Maybe after your summer road trips, you've realized your vehicle sucks. My friends at Jermaine Lexus want to help. Right now, they have special APRs as low as 2.99% on their most popular models like the ES and RX, or lease payments starting as low as $4.99 a month. My friends at Jermaine are the best in the business. If you're in the market, please stop in. 2 locations to serve you, Dublin and Easton, JermaineLexus.com.
Bishop and Friends is sponsored by Awaken 180 Weight Loss. Fast, sustainable weight loss without medications. The solution for weight loss. Awaken 180 Weight Loss.
He knows everything about the Buckeyes. He's been offered tens of dollars by a certain team to spill his secrets. He's told that certain team to go to hell.
Damn you all to hell!
He's Austin Ward.
Sponsored by Awaken 180 Weight Loss. More life, more energy.
All right, we'll get to Austin here in just a second now. I think we are efforting connecting with Master Ward here. One other thing I should have brought up in the Big Ten in discussing the top of the Big Ten was Indiana. They moved to 5-0 for the first time since 1967 and are ranked. So that's a hell of a job out of Indiana. They had asked for a big crowd. They got it. Another team that we usually make fun of here that deserves a little bit of their flowers is Rutgers. Rutgers moved to 5-0 as well. So teams that are traditionally at the bottom of the Big Ten have really had nice starts to the season. And one thing about Greg Schiano, and Threes and I talked about this when he and I did the show together, and it's just worth repeating, Greg Schiano can coach it. He can flat out coach it up, and he's doing so with them. He's kind of the one guy who has proven historically that he could win there, and he's done so this year as they are off to a 4-0 start there. Indiana, as I mentioned, atop the Big Ten, already have 2 Big Ten wins. They are 5-0 on the season. Former Ohio quarterback Curtis Rourke there, and he's off to a nice start. The Big Ten now with a total of 7 ranked teams. Buckeyes come in at number 3. Oregon is now 6. Penn State is 7. 10 is Michigan, 11 is USC, 23 is Indiana, and 24 is Illinois. I think that's a lot of respect for Illinois, and I do like seeing that Illinois did not drop out of the top 25 after a very, very difficult loss at Penn State. So that's where you stand on that side of things. Going to be another really interesting weekend in the Big Ten. Again, my big beef with the Big Ten is I just wish they played a little bit more of the hits. I wish that we got some games kind of standing on their own. There was a chance to play USC and Ohio State early. The Big Ten did not do that. There was a chance to have USC and Penn State play this weekend. Probably should have done that instead of having them compete with Ohio State and Oregon. In addition to that, you think about the notion of UCLA opening Big Ten play against Indiana. The way that they did, Oregon opening Big Ten play on the road at UCLA instead of giving them a home game against a big-time opponent. They get Michigan State this weekend on a Friday night. Also thought it was really silly to have Penn State and Illinois on NBC at the exact same time as Ohio State and Michigan State. That's not a great look either for the league. So those things are a little bit problematic, but the 2 teams have really impressed are Indiana and Rutgers as they have both gotten through September undefeated. Efforting Austin Ward. Do we have Master Ward? Let's see. Do we have Austin?
We are having trouble with the phone lines at this exact moment.
Oh, the phone lines.
We're blaming technology on this one. We're not taking responsibility.
Hate to see the phone lines undo us, boys, on a Monday. We hate to see that. Phone lines, who knows? A lot of people got first world problems this weekend with all of the weather. So phone lines down a little bit. But the conversation that we'll pivot to then is just how Indiana is off to the start. They're off to. Rutgers off to the start. They're off to as well. And the rest of the Big Ten kind of acting accordingly. It is a pretty good thing that you got upwards of 5 teams rather, ranked in the top 11. That's a nice start for the league. And Nebraska's just on the cusp of being ranked. They're up to a 4-1 start with Dylan Raiola at quarterback. That is a fun game. That is Saturday. That is a 4:00 kick. So it'll go head-to-head with ours. Nebraska's at Rutgers on Saturday. So that will be, and they've earned their S. That's a fun little Saturday in the Big Ten. It took a little while for the Big Ten to get engaged, but this weekend will be a fun weekend in the league.
With Rutgers, who birthed college football, it feels like they're just gonna Kyle Monangai has acquitted himself very well. I mean, he was really good for him last season, and he's kind of been the Rutgers that Greg Schiano had in the mid to late 2000s. It was on. I mean, that'll never happen again. But this can be a Rutgers. This can be a Rutgers, I think, that knows, that acts accordingly, and that kind of understands the limitations that a school like Rutgers has. But a chance to play spoiler and be a thorn in sides of power college football programs.
Did you have any notion that Curtis Rourke was this good?
Yes,
you did. You thought last couple of years at Ohio, you're like, oh yeah, he had
30 plus starts at OU, and I think that it was, for me, like. Frank Solich retires, Tim Albin comes in. If Curtis had talent around him, and he did, but it wasn't like high-end MAC talent even. Like, it was decent, but now he's got mid-level Big Ten talent, and you're seeing what he's able to do with it. Like, he's a hell of a quarterback.
He was at OU for 5 seasons.
Yeah.
Played for 4, there for 5. And then this year at Indiana is off to a ridiculous clip. 73% completions, 1372, 11 touchdowns, 2 picks. I mean, I think I talked about this on that college football game. They have him winning the Heisman, and one of the ones the boys played had him win the Heisman.
What are going to be that?
He might be in the mix.
He might
be in the mix.
He'll put up some numbers. I mean, he'll continue to put up some numbers. Like Indiana's doing things like 100 years ago that they did offensively. Like there's for Kirk Cignetti, I think this is the first time an Indiana head coach has ever started his tenure. What are we 4-0? And he brought half of James Madison with him. And last season, James Madison was knocking on the door of the top 25. So I think there's a blueprint for a team like Indiana, for a program like Indiana, where you bring in a coach from a lesser program, you go, hey, bring some of the other guys with you.
It's one of those things where you understand why this is the best job. He's 63 years old.
Yeah.
Kurt Cignetti is 63 years old. His coaching career starts at Pitt in 83. Like, that's a long time ago. From a coaching standpoint, in terms of not being able to get that spot. So he's a position coach all the way through, gets on the Alabama staff with Saban from 2007 to 2010. He was on Chuck Amato's staffs at NC State. And then he's a head coach at IUPUI. Gets that job from 11 to 16, then Elon 17, 18, then James Madison 19, 23, and now at Indiana. So at age 63, to deliver like this is stunning. To have this in him, and they deserve a ton of credit for it. He's kind of won everywhere he's been. My goodness. He goes, actually, it's not IUPU. I don't even know what this is. Oh, yeah, it is. Yeah, it is. So he goes 53-17, then 14-9, 12-2 at James Madison, or 52-9 at James Madison is the record on that side of things in the Sun Belt. So he's been good everywhere and off to a very good start at Indiana.
And the thing for the Hoosiers, it's pretty navigable. I don't know if you would have mentioned
you have it pulled
what
up?
They've got coming down. I mean, they're at Northwestern. That'll be a 3:30 kick this weekend.
Win.
And then they'll play Nebraska in Bloomington. So
Nebraska gets the Darlings back-to-back. They get Rutgers and Indiana back-to-back.
Trying to see the 19th. Does that sound like an awkward day? No, that's their bye.
That's Texas, Georgia.
Yeah. And then Washington, Michigan State. And then they're back-to-back Michigan and Ohio State. And then Purdue to wrap up the season.
Yeah, that's bowl eligible, dude.
That could be better than that. That could be if there's a win over Michigan and your only blemish on the schedule is Ohio State.
So they play us on the 23rd. My God, could they be like Big Ten? Could they be like
got one conference loss and that's to Ohio State?
Boys. They're trying to pack the house first. Let's.
I'll do it. I'll put Indiana in the college football playoff on September 30th.
No, Nebraska's going to be a tough one, but they could very well, especially with the way that Washington's been playing. Haven't been too impressed with them losing to Washington State and Rutgers this past weekend. So they could very well be. What would that put them at? 8-1 heading into Michigan, Ohio State, Purdue to end the season.
Yeah, and if they win one of those, you're talking 9-3. With 3 losses being Big Ten losses. So that probably wouldn't have you in the playoff, but it would have you in the mix as long as you're not annihilated by the Buckeyes and Michigan's not going to annihilate anybody, guys.
It looks like from our now cellular phone correspondent, Austin Ward, Verizon Wireless is down.
Oh, there you go.
See, I told you it was technology's fault.
It's Verizon Wireless problem. Okay, very good. Well, we'll get with Austin maybe tomorrow on the program or see if we can get with him a little bit later in the program. We'll hit Thing or Not a Thing up next. Bishop and Friends right here on The Fan.
A lot of hosts have been on our airways in the past 30 years. Some good, some bad, some really bad. Anyway, sorry for that. The Fan.
Hey, what's up? It's T-Bone. Guys, listen up. How many of you out there have been diagnosed with sleep apnea? Maybe your partner can't tolerate your snoring every single night. You can't stand your CPAP machine. I get it. But there are alternatives to the CPAP machine, and Dr. Mark Levy is here to change your sleep and your life. Trust me, your spouse will thank you later. Dr. Mark Levy can customize an oral appliance that opens your airways, helps you breathe better, and stops your snoring. What a concept. It's quick, comfortable, and an alternative to those bulky, loud CPAP machines you always hear about. For over 15 years, Dr. Mark Levy has led the way when it comes to treating snoring and sleep apnea, and he has a track record to prove it. If you're snoring and not sleeping, you need to call Dr. Mark Levy's office today. And as the end of the year approaches, a lot of people have exceeded their medical deductibles, which means less out of pocket for you. Don't delay. Schedule your appointment today with Dr. Mark Levy at 1-800-MORE-SLEEP. That's 1-800-MORE-SLEEP. Or you can visit him online at sleepbettercolumbus.com. 1-800-MORE-SLEEP or sleepbettercolumbus.com.
Scott, from the Cleveland area, has coached girls basketball and supported his granddaughter's athletic pursuits.
My granddaughters have worked hard to excel in sports. It's tough enough. So the idea that Sherrod Brown voted to allow transgender biological men to compete in girls' sports, it's unfair and dangerous. And introducing a bill to allow biological men in girls' locker rooms? Biological men to shower in my granddaughter's locker room? No way. I worry about the safety of my family constantly. Now I have to worry about Sherrod Brown's crazy liberal ideas. I thought Sherrod Brown was on my side, but he's way too liberal for me.
Sherrod Brown has let Ohio down. Now he's way too liberal for Ohio. Senate Leadership Fund paid for and is responsible for the content of this advertising, not authorized by any candidate or candidates committee. www.senateleadershipfund.org.
A.J. Hawk won a national title, a Super Bowl, and a Lombardi Award, but his weekly appearance on Morning Juice Fridays at 8:33 is the real highlight of his career. If he tells you otherwise, he's lying.
Sponsored by FanDuel.
The Fan.
At APCO Windows, there's no 35% off sales, no buy one, get one free, just our best bottom line price. So get multiple estimates. Just make sure one is from APCO.
Absolutely, absolutely. You can trust APCO.
APCO.com.
Need inspiration? Shop Kroger for thousands of appetizing ingredients that inspire countless mouth-watering meals with savings beyond low prices. Like digital coupons worth over $600 each week and up to $1 off per gallon at the pump. So you can get big flavors and big savings. Kroger, fresh for everyone. Fuel restrictions apply.
It's Customer Appreciation Week with special deals like select Kroger brand pasta sauce or pasta for only 99 cents each with your card. Kroger, fresh for everyone.
Hey, it's Anthony Rothman. The fall deals at Germain Honda of Dublin are beautiful. The 24 Civic LX, only $249 a month for 36 months. The 24 Accord LX, only $279 a month for 36 months. With 10,000 miles a year on the lease, $34.99 cash cap reduction, payments plus tax, tag, and document fee, and away you go. How about 0.9% up to 36 months on the 24 Prologue, the first all-electric SUV from Honda. For the best deal in town, Germain Honda of Dublin on Sawmill Road.
Our clients deserve for us to care, and they deserve to feel serviced. They have questions, and they deserve answers. We're counselors first because I'm not selling them anything. I'm trying to teach clients how to protect themselves. At Curtis & Associates, we're personal injury attorneys. We've helped and continue to help hundreds and hundreds of clients every year. That's important to us. If you've been injured in an accident and it's not your fault, call now. 614-GOT-HURT. That's 614-GOT-HURT. Curtis & Associates. Attorneys who care.
Care Heating and Cooling. When you need a company you can trust, call 1-800-COOLING.
The Fan Guest Hotline is sponsored by Ohio Heating and Bryant. Doing whatever it takes to keep you and your home comfortable. The Fan.
Taking the art of sports radio and day drinking to a whole new level. You're listening to Bishop and Friends.
I get to Thing or Not a Thing momentarily. Shams Charania reporting Basketball Hall of Famer Dikembe Mutombo has passed away at the age of 58 due to brain cancer. Did not know that he was ill. Was just a tremendous defensive presence in the league. Teams built around him. Certainly the one that jumps out was in Denver. You remember that years ago in the mid-'90s where they pulled the upset as the 8th seed against Seattle. And there's that image of him on the floor holding the ball, sobbing. And then again in Philly and other places along the way, just a enormous personality, really fun. The finger wave is, of course, something that everyone will remember. But gone way too soon. Dikembe Mutombo passed at the age of 58 here in the last couple of minutes or so. Time for Thing or Not a Thing. Hit it, fellas.
Thing or Not a Thing.
Sponsored by Apex Plumbing Pros.
All right, so last week, Baker Mayfield went on the Casa de Club podcast because apparently now Corey Kluber has a podcast, but he does it with Tyler Casagrande, and said that Tom Brady's intensity when he was in Tampa stressed out the locker room.
The building was a little bit different with Tom in there. Obviously, playing-wise, Tom was different. He had everybody dialed in, high-strung environment, so I think everybody was pretty stressed out. So for me, and everybody was expecting the Bucs to not be good last year, so they wanted me to come in, be myself, bring the joy back to football a little bit for guys that weren't having as much fun, and just continue to raise the competition level. So they just asked me to be myself, and like as a player, you really can't ask for much more than that.
Tom Brady was doing the Fox coverage with Kevin Burkhardt of the Eagles and the Buccaneers. And so during that broadcast, Kevin Burkhardt had some fun with TB12.
The building was...
It's funny because you've made this environment for me very stressful up here in the booth, so I understand where he's coming from.
Do you feel it?
No.
Feel the stress? No. Well, I was going to say, I thought stressful was not having Super Bowl rings. So there was a mindset of a champion that I took to work every day. This wasn't daycare. If I wanted to have fun, I was going to go to Disneyland with my kids.
Yeah, so, as you were saying, go ahead. That's you feel like I feel like there's more in there to say.
There's a way to approach this game, and it's that with the right mindset and try to push each other outside of our comfort zone, and great teammates do that. You come in, I have someone like Gronkowski, I have someone like Evans. There's high expectations for us. We got to make sure we go out there and deliver.
The competitive juice is still flowing.
It's still in there.
I love it.
No apologies.
After the Buccaneers beat the Eagles 33-16, Baker Mayfield was asked about those comments.
I think a lot of that got taken out of context. None of it was personal by any means. It's just, what he demanded of the guys, and that's the aura of Tom Brady, and that's what he did to bring a championship here. And so, nothing personal, but talking before the game, he's obviously happy for me, and he knows the guys, so he knows how much I enjoy throwing to Mike and Chris because he got to do the same, and so it's fun to be able to, talk about the same experiences with a guy like that.
Thing or not a thing?
Okay. A couple of things. I think the first part of the first Baker soundbite where he said everyone was expecting the Bucs to not be good. So I think what that allowed for is it allowed for Baker to truly be himself and kind of just let it fly, which is, as I've said many times, when he's very, very comfortable. He's very comfortable in a no expectation situation, especially when he was a younger player. I've said this before. He's one of the great front runners. When things are good, he's awesome. He is a galvanizer. He is a clubhouse guy. The clubhouse loves him. Now, when it goes bad, he shaves 3 times in one day, or he did when he was younger, and maybe he's grown out of that. So I think that part was interesting. I also thought it was interesting that Kevin Burkhardt had to say, I feel like there's more in there. Like he's trying to get Brady to say something. So I also think, like, anytime you can say, I have rings, you don't, like that's kind of the end of the argument once that happens, and Brady's going to be able to do that forever. The last thing I'll say on this is, in sports and in life, you have to be honest to who you are and not try to be someone that you're not. And I think Baker Mayfield is behaving very authentic to himself. And Tom Brady, when he got to Tampa, was a culture tornado and behaved very authentic to himself. So both can be right. The only problem I have with is Baker saying it was taken out of context. No, it wasn't. It's full context. It's you talking on a podcast with your friends. Stop it. It's not out of context.
I agree with you on that point for sure. I'm going to say this is not a thing because I don't think you need to win as much as Tom Brady to get as much enjoyment out of his career as he did. Because I got to question how much they actually were having a good time and enjoying themselves. Baker Mayfield has a very gargantuan personality. And so at the end of his career, whether he wins championships or not, I think that just based off his personality, I don't think he's going to have a million regrets about his career. And so he plays with a more kind of fun style. He walks in the locker room. I don't think you need to have 7 Super Bowls to necessarily have what you consider to be a successful career for whatever your definition of success is. I think the whole GOAT conversation kind of makes us stack everybody's championships up against each other. But I don't know. Baker Mayfield's always had a good time. And I think especially with how he's a little bit reviving his career down there, I think that whatever his definition of success is, it's not Tom Brady's level. So, Tom Brady kind of dunked on him a little bit. But, I mean, those guys probably love Baker, and he's probably loves to be there.
Yeah, I'm sure in the moment, Chris Godwin and Mike Evans were like, man, this Brady guy's, he's such a hard ass. And it's like, well, that's what you're bringing in there. Like, that's the personality. And so it may not, for Baker, like, winning's fun, but you don't have to be every single thing you do about winning. But for Tom Brady, that's him. That's Tom Brady. That's authentically Brady, is we've got to, every single thing we do matter.
I'm guessing nobody had a problem with it when he was there.
I think they were okay with it. Well, they're probably stressed a little bit, but isn't it supposed to be stressful?
Yeah, winning's fun. Like they got a Super Bowl. Like
that's fun.
That's really fun.
I'm sure they had fun on the boat parade.
Yeah, that's fun. It all worked out.
All right, up next, Arch Manning put together a nearly flawless performance on Saturday to the tune of 26 of 31, 324 yards, 2 touchdowns, and no interceptions. So now, in 11 quarters of fill-in work replacing an injured Quinn Ewers, Arch Manning has now amassed 805 yards, 8 touchdowns, 2 interceptions on nearly 70% passing. I know just shouting a bunch of numbers on the radio is a lot easier for me when I'm looking at it than you guys who aren't looking at it. But trust me, if you missed all those numbers, pretty darn good. Okay, but the opponents that Arch Manning's been going up against, UTSA, Louisiana Monroe, Mississippi State, and for those of you who were keeping track a couple weeks ago, Toledo went into Mississippi State and won 41-17. So not exactly, the cream of the crop down there in the SEC. Arch Manning's success in relief of Quinn Ewers, thing or not a thing?
Well, it's a huge thing for us here, Bud, because obviously we were hoping to get his debut next season to open the year. We were hoping to get his first start. We're not going to get that. Look, it doesn't really matter to me so much who he's playing against or statistically, but rather just what it looks like. And I've been curious every week they play to just see how it looks. It looks very good. He's going to be a first-round pick. Whenever he wants to be a first-round pick, he'll be one. Ewers is a little bit more of a gunslinger in terms of willing to just push the ball down the field a little more than Manning. But Manning takes every single thing that's there. He made an absolute bucket of a pass in the game on Saturday against Mississippi State. He's a dude. And so I would imagine Texas's next couple of recruiting and portal classes will reflect that. And Texas is going nowhere. They're going to be right there with Georgia and Alabama and Ohio State for the next 2 or 3 years.
Yeah, it's a thing in that there's not going to be a drop-off because Ewers will return for the Red River. Can't call it a shootout. And I think you'll have similar shootout-y numbers because, like you said, Quinn Ewers, gunslinger. And then I think Texas beats Georgia. From what I saw, you got a quarterback that can push the ball down the field and move like Ewers isn't as good of a runner as Milroe, but Ewers, if you saw him at the big house, can make teams, can frustrate the hell out of teams. Although I guess now that I say that, if Ewers is coming back from an oblique injury, how mobile is he going to be?
I don't know.
This does, however, make the Red River rivalry a very exciting contest in 2 weeks, as if it needed that sort of thing. But once Ewers is gone, here comes Arch. And if he gets more polished from that, Texas will be at the top of the SEC next season.
Yeah, they are going nowhere anytime soon. We'll blitz the Buckeyes coming up next. Bishop and Friends right here on The Fan.
Common Man and T-Bone are idiots. You should listen to them anyway.
Weekdays from 3 to 6.
The Fan, Ohio's idiot destination.
The higher your credit card rate, the longer it will take you to pay off your balances. Plus, you're paying a lot more interest than you need to. Switch to a Platinum Rewards Visa from Kemba Financial Credit Union with super low everyday rates on purchases, a full year interest-free and balance transfers, and unlock unlimited 2% cash back for a limited time. You'll also get exclusive perks like 24/7 support, ID theft protection, and roadside assistance. Apply at Kemba.org. Restrictions apply. Offer ends October 31st, 2024.
Dormar, your climate hero.
Dorn, what's that guy yelling about in my noisemaker?
Dormar, your climate hero.
Your climate hero, you fossil?
What's a climate hero?
That's Dormar, our same-day heating and AC company we've used for 60 years.
Who?
Dormar, your climate hero.
Come on, Dad, you laugh every time you hear their tidy-whitey commercials.
Yep, those are funnier.
Dormar, your climate hero.
We are Ortho Alliance. Together, we deliver the most experienced orthopedic care near you and throughout Central Ohio. Together, we provide expert care when you need it with same-day and next-day appointments. We put our patients' care first, from physical therapy to the most challenging joint replacement surgeries. We are JIS Orthopedics, Ortho Neuro, Orthopedic Associates of Zanesville, Orthopedic Foot and Ankle Center, and Orthopedic Specialists and Sports Medicine. And we are better together. Visit orthoalliance.com or call 877-WE-ARE-OA.
Get in zone, AutoZone.
Welcome to AutoZone. What are you working on today? So you've got an oil change coming up. You can go farther and save on full synthetic with our oil change special. Right now, you can get 5 quarts of Valvoline Advanced Full Synthetic with an STP Extended Life oil filter for just $35.99. Get the parts you need when you need them at AutoZone or AutoZone.com.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Restrictions apply.
Good morning, Doctor.
Doctor?
Hi, Doctor.
Doctor?
Dr. Jackson's practice is growing.
What do you mean we're still short-staffed?
He needs a good patient doctor.
How do we not have enough doctors to doctor all these patients?
And he doesn't have the patience to sift through hundreds of resumes.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. When you sponsor a job on Indeed, it's easier for talented candidates to find it, which makes it easier for you to hire them. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
At the Home Depot, we know Saturdays are for college football. That's why we have everything you need to never miss a play. Like North America's #1 home fire safety brand, Kidda. Because on a day full of football sounds you love, like fight songs, roaring crowds, and your favorite commentators...
like me, Kirk Herbstreit.
The last sound you want to hear is... Defend your game time with Kidda and the Home Depot. How doers get more done. Based on total household installations as of December 2023.
Good morning, Doctor.
Doctor?
Hi, Doctor.
Doctor?
Dr. Jackson's practice is growing.
What do you mean we're still short-staffed?
He needs a good patient doctor.
How do we not have enough doctors to doctor all these patients?
And he doesn't have the patience to sift through hundreds of resumes.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. When you sponsor a job on Indeed, it's easier for talented candidates to find it, which makes it easier for you to hire them. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
Broadcasting from the Lindsay Honda Studios.
Honda makes the cars. Lindsay makes the difference. Visit lindsayhonda.com.
WBNS-FM, HD1 Columbus. The Fan. Sports Center.
Good morning. I'm Eric Reeser. Number 3 Ohio State's back at the Shoe this Saturday at 3:30. The 4-0 Buckeyes host the 3-1 Iowa Hawkeyes. OSU's a 20.5-point favorite in this one. Hear from Ohio State's head coach Ryan Day tonight around 6:30. He'll join Skip Mossick, Paul Keels, and Jim Lachey on Buckeye Roundtable. In other news, Purdue fired offensive coordinator Graham Harrell earlier this morning. Purdue's 1-3 on the season with an offense that ranks 110th nationally. In the NFL, Week 5 wraps up tonight with a Monday night doubleheader. The Dolphins host the Titans at 7:30. At 8:15, the Seahawks are at the Lions. In the NHL, the Blue Jackets host the Capitals tonight at 7. Preseason game number 5 for the CBJ. You can hear it tonight on The Fan with pregame coverage at 6:45. Jackets are 3-1 in the preseason. Open the regular season next Thursday in Minnesota against the Wild. This update sponsored by Germain Toyota, the best selection of new and used cars in Central Ohio. View their full selection of vehicles online at germaintoyota.net.
The best thing about watching football this weekend, talking football on Reaction Monday.
Sponsored by the Roofing Guys.
The Fan. They'll offer betting advice, but don't bet on it being good. You're listening to Bishop and Friends.
Buckeyes notch another win Saturday night in Sparty Land, convincingly. Now 2-2 against the number so far this season. Another one is Saturday against Iowa, where we're thinking around 20 is what that will be by the time we get to kick on Saturday afternoon at 3:30. Time to blitz the Buckeyes. Hit it, fellas.
Bishop and Friends present Buckeye Blitz.
Sponsored by your Central Ohio Toyota dealers. Visit Toyota.com. Toyota, let's go places.
All right, we do this well. Reese, what do we do well?
Recruit the wide receiver room. Kind of piggybacks on my acquire talent, do well note that I've used for the past, 4 weeks and 3 games.
Cole, what do you got, buddy?
Literally had it typed out on my paper. Recruit.
Oh, we'll have a lot of the same things for this.
I imagine so, especially when we start to hand out game balls for the offense. I think we're all probably going to, I think there are going to be 3 game balls going to one particular player. But recruit, they're just flat out better than everybody they've seen on their schedule so far. For me, I'm just waiting for this Oregon game.
Yeah, I had the same thing. Recruit wide receivers. The thing that's why this is tough, because what you need is to see how this operation reacts to being punched in the mouth. That hasn't happened yet. There's been no threat. Hasn't even been the threat for a game to be occurring in the fourth quarter. I mean, I do 3 things every Saturday. Most of these I could do every one of these I could have done at half. There's no, and as we get later in the year, they'll be, don't do it so early. It's not over yet. Yeah, these are all done. So we need to be tested a little bit, but it's recruit. And somebody asked me, how good are the Buckeyes? They're very talented. I don't know how good of a team they are yet. My hunch is very, very good, but We're not quite there because we just have not been punched in the mouth. Won't beat Georgia if we continue to do what, Reese?
Convert less than 50% of our third down plays. 8 of 17, if I'm doing it, it's 47%. That is not going to cut it against Georgia, Alabama, Texas, maybe not even the U, who back?
Feel like it.
Skin their teeth, huh?
Yeah.
That Virginia Tech game. I have slow starts on defense. Opening drive touchdown to Marshall, not the biggest deal in the world, especially since you almost shut them out the rest of the way. But Michigan State moved the ball pretty well, actually, in the first half. They had a turnover on downs. So situationally, they weren't able to complete drives. But I thought Michigan State moved the ball a little bit more than I thought that they were going to, especially with, kind of an all over the place up and down quarterback like Aiden Childs. So I like them to tighten that up, especially ahead of some of the tougher opponents, and they're going to see one soon.
I think both you guys bring up the two things that are problematic. The third down conversions are real. An inability to pick up third and shorts are very real. And I actually put that down, and in case one of you said that, I also said slow starts defense, and you guys picked them both. So it is what it is. Yeah, the slow starts on the defense are problematic. Akron scored early on us, too. So, there's this kind of thing of, why are we not shot out of a cannon defensively right away? Can you withstand, when you're playing somebody like Georgia or Alabama or Texas or Oregon in 2 weeks, and they go right down the field and score, and then they go down the field and score again, can you adjust and then stop them and suffocate them? That will be something that we'll only know when we play those type of games. What would you like to see more of, Reese?
Julian Sain. That's the fourth time I've done that this season. And I feel like I'll be doing it till November, I guess it would be December 1st.
So there was, what was interesting about, just to interject, was Siciliano and McCoy seemed very convinced that it could have been either Sain or Brown. So that leads me to believe that came from the coaching staff. Either that or they were just making stuff up, which I would not put beyond Colt McCoy.
Colt McCoy
he made up a lot.
He just showed up and said, all right, what are we doing?
Do we got a football game? Who's playing? What's going on in college football? Is there NIL? Oh, there is? What's NIL? How about you, Cole? What would you like to see more of?
Kojo Antwi, because I like his name and I want to hear a broadcaster say it more.
I think my one beef with the Ryan Day and now first month of the Chip Kelly offense, juxtaposed to the best teams in the country, is we don't use the full field the way that I would like to. I would like us to throw the ball between the hashes a little bit more. I would like for us to stretch the ball down the field a little bit more. Now, we haven't had to. We've been able to play very, very vanilla to this point. But I think to beat Texas, to beat Georgia, to beat Alabama, perhaps to beat Oregon, you're going to have to be able to stress the entire field. And right now, I'm not sure that we do that offensively. Coach who earned his courtesy car this week, Reese, who do you got?
I'm going to assume it's the man who acquired Jeremiah Smith, Brian Hartline.
Yeah, you're going to get a second from me on that one.
I'm going to go threes here, not necessarily because of what happened on the field, but he coached Cersei. She delivered a proud bouncing baby boy last week, young Maverick Levi. So congratulations to the Laurinaitis and all the girls. Can you imagine those three little girls watching over that little boy as he grows up? I mean, Arya's she'll stab a girl that treats him wrong.
Yeah, he's either in a lot of trouble or he's going to be very well protected.
I think he's going to be well protected. Yeah, I think they're lording over it. So congratulations to Shell and James. Good job out of you guys. Game ball offense. Who do you got, Reese?
Well, just one hand at Jeremiah Smith.
Yeah, there's a second from me on that one, too.
I thought Trey did. I think Travion, he had the big burst on the run. Also had a really good blitz pickup. And just to not do too much on Jeremiah, go in a different direction there. But when it came time to give out tables on Saturday, and obviously he got the table, it's so hard not to heap just an abundance of praise on the kid. But I do think that what Ohio State is going to be at its best is a bludgeoning outfit. The one thing that I think Ohio State will be able to do that maybe Alabama can't and maybe Georgia can't is run it when they know you're going to be able to run it. We haven't had to do that yet, but if the offensive line can continue to get a little bit of push, hopefully that continues. Trey was 7 for 69, almost 10 yards a carry, and again, like I said, very good in blitz pickup as well. He's just such a pro. Both of those backs are just total pros. Game ball defense, Reese, who do you got?
I'm going to give it to Caleb Downs. I know Denzel Burke had an interception. I know there were a couple of fumbles and a couple of fumble recoveries by the Silver Bullets, but it's just different when Caleb Downs is out there.
I'm going to go with Sonny Styles. He's a player that's impressed me a little bit this season for sure. Fumble recovery, leading tackler. I believe he even got a sack, if I'm correct. I'm going to go Sonny.
Yeah, I think it's really incredible what Arvell Reese has done. He started the game on Saturday. To think where he was in that depth chart to try to turn himself into somebody who forces his way onto the field. I also thought Cody Simon was off the bus, ready to go. He should be. He's a captain. He wears the block O, all of those things. But I thought he was very impressive. I thought Three's linebackers did a pretty good job in the game on Saturday. All right, Big Ten, you have our attention now. Who around the league Big Ten threat level. Big Ten threat level, Reese, who do you got?
It's Indiana. Curtis Rourke, Kirk Cignetti. I mean, that's a team that I think, when you look into late November, I think they upset Michigan, and I think they provide Ohio State a challenge that not a lot of these teams are going to, and that's spread the field and use a lot more blades of grass than just running it between the tackles.
Yeah, they will.
Rutgers, I know that Washington lost a lot, but I still thought that Rutgers winning that game against Washington was pretty good just for the sake of keeping the clean sheet and seeing what they can do. So I'm a little bit intrigued with this Rutgers team.
I'll tell you what matters, guys, in college football, coaching. Cignetti can coach it. Bielema can coach it. Schiano can coach it. So those are cellar-dweller programs, but they all are being coached expertly. I was thinking if Penn State was going to lose that game to Illinois, if you're the Penn State boosters, do you let Bielema leave the city? You can't. Just hire him and throw Franklin out. Like, what he's done to Illinois that quickly in that type of short order, pretty remarkable job. I think from a threat, I've given those teams a lot of flowers. I think from a threat level standpoint, it is still Oregon, absolutely. They were a buzzsaw to start the game against UCLA. Didn't end up covering, but kind of just took the foot off the gas as that one didn't start till 11 o'clock. I also think USC, not a threat for the Buckeyes, but that could have gone all sorts of sideways for Lincoln Riley, and they were down big to Wisconsin. Rallied, and then ended up annihilating them by the time all is said and done. You have our attention now. Who around the country has your attention, Reese?
Alabama. That's a hell of a team.
Who needs Matt Sluka at UNLV when they come out with that performance against Fresno State? And what's cool is that they're in the rankings now. So now Boise State has a ranked opponent, and we get to watch Ashton Genty against a ranked opponent at some point on the schedule. So the Mountain West is fun right now.
It is Alabama, and here's why. When Michael Penix got to Washington, he was kind of an afterthought quarterback at Indiana. And then 2 years with Kalen DeBoer, and he was a Heisman finalist. He actually had my vote last year on the top of my ballot to win the Heisman. And obviously the Daniels pick looks like a very good pick now with the way he's playing in the league. But Penix was great. What we didn't consider was that it was so much about Kalen DeBoer following Saban, and what we didn't consider was how much of an offensive upgrade Kalen DeBoer's offense is at Alabama. So now you take Saban's recruits and you pair them with Kalen DeBoer and his offense, and you have what you had from Jalen Milroe. 100 yards on the ground, 300 through the air, 500 yards of total offense, and the clear Heisman frontrunner. That is a terrifyingly explosive team. And the Ryan Williams kid, the play he made in the fourth quarter, I have never seen a receiver do that. Never. To spin that way, I just had never seen it. So that was, and in a walk-off fashion, like had to have it, just throw it deep, and he goes and makes a play. Can this team win it all, grade, Reese?
It's an A. Yeah, I think there's some the defensive slow starts. I think the third down conversion rate, I think it takes it away from an A+. Because, again, Michigan State, you're a 23.5-point favorite over. Yeah. But it's still, there's still no doubt that this team can win it all.
Yeah.
I'm going to say A-. I need to see it against Oregon. And, that's no fault of Ohio State's, just because the schedule has a bunch of opponents who are way inferior to you. And I actually gained some faith, not because of anything they did, but because I was in love with Georgia, and they terrified me with their performance this weekend. So I'm down on Georgia, up on Ohio State.
Yeah, I'm kind of with you, Cole. You just got to see it. We just haven't seen it. We haven't seen them play similar comp yet, but we will in a couple of weeks out in Eugene, and then we'll have a much better feel. But I'm with you guys. I think it's A-, somewhere like that. There's just a couple of things that need to get cleaned up before you play that Oregon team. And you can sense that this team is ready to play an opponent like that. They're bored. by this schedule. It's bored them to tears, and so they're ready for a big challenge. Get a bigger one this week at Iowa, and then obviously a massive one out at Eugene. 3 down in college football. Not a great weekend for Lane Kiffin. We'll get into all of that and how the mess of the Big 12 could provide the college football playoff as well. Bishop and Friends right here on The Fan.
Tweet from a listener. Are you carrying the Buckeye game today? Considering we've never not carried one, yes. The answer is yes. The Fan.
Marty Brenneman here for Tri-State Men's Health, the leader in men's sexual health for treating erectile dysfunction and low testosterone issues. And they're the leader for a reason, because I can tell you from my own experience of being treated there, Tri-State Men's Health is top shelf. Far too many men wait to get their ED treated, but I want to tell you today that you shouldn't wait any longer. If you're suffering with ED and are like most guys, a medical team at Tri-State Men's Health will get you back on track fast. They have the experience, they have the treatment protocols, and they know what they're doing. At Tri-State Men's Health, they have ED treatments that are effective in well over 90% of men. They can even combine treatments for better results. You might even find yourself performing like you haven't in years. So make an appointment today. Your initial visit is just $99 and includes blood work, a medical consult, and if medically advised, a test dose. And if that test dose doesn't work in the office, your visit is free. Call 800-900-9654 or go to tristatemenshealth.com. They have 6 offices in the tri-state area to serve you.
At Baths R Us, we're terrible roofers. We stink at installing siding. And don't ever call us for your kitchen remodel. But if you want a stunning, beautiful bathroom makeover in just 2 or 3 days, now that's when you want to call us. See, unlike most contractors these days, we offer only one service, bathroom remodeling. We don't spread ourselves thin by doing roofing or siding and a bunch of other stuff. Nope. At Baths R Us, we dedicate every company resource into mastering the craft of bath transformations. It's why we're the Midwest's biggest 5-star family-owned bathroom company. And it's why we have the happiest customers. Just check out our Google reviews. Baths R Us. We're terrible roofers, but we're awesome bathroom remodelers. Right now, get $1,500 off a shower or tub replacement or $3,000 off a full bathroom remodel. Plus, low to no monthly payments. Call 380-225-BATH to schedule your free estimate or go to bathsrus.com. Baths R Us, where dreams soak in.
The Buckeyes are back at the shoe for a Big Ten battle with Iowa.
Live fan coverage starts Saturday at 10 with a kick at 3:30.
Every game, every season, proud to be your flagship home for Ohio State athletics. The Fan.
Care Heating and Cooling. Honest technicians, honest pricing. Call 1-800-COOLING.
Bo Bishop here. High Bank Distillery Co. is the most awarded distillery in America at the 2024 San Francisco World Spirits Competition. Stop by your local liquor store to grab a bottle or their 2 restaurant locations in Gahanna and Grandview. Dine, drink, distill at High Bank.
I didn't expect to, but I need to get a new health insurance plan. The good news is I found Health Markets. I went to healthmarkets.com and saw plans available in my area. They have access to more than 200 carriers across the country. And if you need help, you can just speak with a licensed insurance agent. It's all right there for you.
Discover the advantages of real personalized service today at healthmarkets.com. Health Markets Insurance Agency, Inc. is licensed as an insurance agency nationwide except in Massachusetts. Paid actor per trail.
If you recently lost health coverage due to a life change, healthcare.gov is here for you. Like it was there for Marcus when he lost his job. And Keisha when she turned 26 and lost her parents' insurance. And Elena when she went off Medicaid. There are many other ways to qualify. Visit healthcare.gov today to see if you're eligible to enroll. Limited time to enroll. Paid for by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
If a friend asks how you're doing, and you say,
I'm okay.
When the truth is,
I don't want my problems to burden anyone.
Or you say,
hang it in there.
Because
if I ask for help, they'll just think I'm weak.
Then this is your sign to call, text, or chat 988 for free, confidential support. Anytime. You don't have to hide how you feel.
Is thinning hair or a receding hairline making you self-conscious? Try Hair Grow from New Nordic. Stop feeling embarrassed about thinning hair and start feeling your best with Hair Grow.
Fan weather.
From the Logan AC and Heat Services Weather Center.
Time now to get a look at that weather report. Today, cloudy along with a few showers, high 77.
A little bit drier tomorrow, but we still maintain a 20% chance of rain. 79 on your Tuesday. And then the sunshine is back as high pressure strengthens. Look for a high of 73 on Wednesday under sunny skies. I'm meteorologist Dylan Robichaud with your 10 TV weather impact forecast on 97.1 The Fan.
The two most mature people working at the radio station. And that's just because they wear pants.
The pervert and the skivvies.
Rothman and Ice.
Weekdays at noon.
The Fan. Sports conversation that's worthy of a toast, or at least a stiff drink. You're listening to Bishop and Friends.
Brandon Marcello, National College Football writer from 24/7 Sports and CBS Sports, coming up in about 13 minutes from now. A huge station announcement coming tomorrow at 10 o'clock right here on the program. You're going to be excited about this, I assure you of that. Time for 3 down in college football, and we start with Lane Kiffin and Ole Miss. If ever there was an opportunity in a year for this Ole Miss team to be able to go, this was it. They were ultra spendy in the portal. They brought in all sorts of help to give Jackson Dart the best opportunity he could to succeed. My hunch is Ole Miss is going to be one of those programs that's similar to Florida State. And what's happened to Florida State this year, I'm not saying they're going to fall that far off the cliff, but you're going to kind of have years when you can go all in, and then you're going to have to pull back, and then you're going to go all in and be pulled back. There's no way that Ole Miss is going to financially be able to fill the coffers year in and year out the way that Georgia and Texas A&M and Texas and Ohio State and Michigan and Penn State and Notre Dame can. So what are they going to be year in and year out? This was without a question their year. It was homecoming, for God's sakes. It was a homecoming game against Kentucky. Kentucky played a perfect game in terms of keeping the ball away from Jackson Dart. But despite it, Ole Miss had opportunities in the fourth quarter of this game to steal it, and they couldn't do it. The remaining schedule for them now, because this is one of those ones that you were certainly considering was going to be a win, now the remaining schedule looks much, much more daunting than previously would have thought. To give you an idea of where they go from here, they're at South Carolina this weekend. That should be pretty easy. Then they're at LSU. A split is probably the best you can hope for there. Then it's Oklahoma, Arkansas, Georgia, Florida, Mississippi State. So it's manageable, but they are going to absolutely test that 9-3 versus your 11-1 thing. And I feel like anything short of a playoff for them would be wildly disappointing. They only fell to 12. They're still in the mix.
Just different.
Yeah, they only fell to 12. That's tough.
And I think if you asked a voter, or if you asked one of the SIDs that does the coaches, probably like, well, Kentucky's a hell of a team. That's nothing to. That loss is very respectable.
Yeah. That's tough.
Or it's just like, are we sure Indiana couldn't go out and beat Kentucky right now? We're not.
I'd pick them.
Yeah, it was wildly disappointing, but just dropping to 12th, it's hard to even. That's not that much damage. And honestly, when I went through their schedule, I was all ready to bury them. But when you go through their schedule, they could easily only lose. They could lose 2 more. They could lose at LSU. Oklahoma could get them. Oklahoma plays decent defense, and with the new quarterback, they're going a ways. But then they got Georgia towards the end of the year, and that'll obviously be a loss. There's no way they're beating that Georgia team.
Very well, Ole Miss might be the poster child for our 9-3s, better than your 10-2.
Feels like it, doesn't it?
This team, because they'll put up some numbers, and those Baby Blues look so good. It's a shame that on the field they didn't look good.
Yeah,
but this is a team. They beat LSU, who has a number next to their name. If they could beat Oklahoma, they have a number next to their name. They're probably not beating Georgia, but they'll trash the rest of their opponents. Then they'll be back up in the top 10 in 2 weeks.
Yeah, that Magnolia Bowl is going to be huge against LSU.
They got it. Yeah, that'll be tricky for them. That feels like a loser leave home game. Loser there is probably out of the mix. Is what that one could be. Also down this weekend, Pop Quiz Boys, without looking, provided you don't have the standings up. Can you name the 2 undefeated teams in the Big 12?
BYU and Utah?
No, Utah lost. Utah lost to Arizona.
Oh, man, I'm not going to.
BYU's one of them. BYU is one of them. They've been awfully impressive. They're atop the league.
I'm not going to get the second one.
Can I interest you in Iowa State?
Not really, but yeah.
Oh, yeah, because Matt Campbell's fake good again. Damn it.
He's fake good. That's exactly right. So this is, and if you go back to our college football preview conversations we were having in August, the one thing you felt very confident about is that these teams would all cannibalize each other, and that's exactly what's happened. Tons of losses throughout this league. Utah losing to Arizona over the weekend. The 3 2-0 teams atop the Big 12 are BYU, Colorado, and Texas Tech. CU and Texas Tech already have overall losses. There are 3 other 1-0 teams in Big 12 play: Iowa State, Arizona, and West Virginia. West Virginia is 2-2, so they're out of the mix. This league, and this is why they're one of the 3 downs, is going to cannibalize. I would not at all be surprised if, I mean, could the team that gets in from this league be like the 12th team in the playoff? The 12 seed, the 11 seed? It's possible that Boise State is ranked ahead of them if Boise State can win out, and they were one of the winners this weekend. Obviously, the winner of this league is getting in automatically, but my God, they could be ranked 19th in the country and get in.
And they preserve the top 4 seed, right?
No, not necessarily. Oh,
yeah, winner's guaranteed. Yeah, the Big 12 champ.
Oh, my God.
They're
The Power 5 got me.
They're going to have a bye.
They'll have a bye.
Oh, my God. That's right. Silly me, still thinking there was a Power 5 for a second on a Monday. You're exactly right. They are going to have a bye. So the winner of this could be ranked 19 or 20 and get a bye. The same is true of the ACC, of course, but it looks like Miami-Clemson looks like that could be a real one, a little bit of a real game there. But it feels like the ACC more is going to hold to form. But the Big 12 is an absolute mess, and you're exactly right. A bye. God.
Or could Boise State get a bye above them, and then the winner of the Big 12 gets 12th? Do they have?
That's not out of the question. No, it's not impossible, is it?
Big 12 champ, the ACC champ. It's the 4 Power 5. Easy for me to say. 4 Power 4 champions get an automatic bye.
Okay, so I don't know if the video game knows anything, but consistently the video game will put a Power 5, a group of 5 team rather, as a bye. Like they'll have Texas State get a bye.
It may just be a qualification to get a bye is that you have to win your conference.
So I wonder if a group of 5 team ranked ahead of a Big 12 team could get a bye.
Ashton Genty, we're looking at you.
Yeah, so Boise State's schedule, Utah State, they've already played the tough teams. They played Oregon and Washington State. They drilled Washington State on Saturday night, lost to Oregon just by 3. They've got Utah State, Hawaii, UNLV, San Diego State, Nevada, San Jose State, Wyoming, Oregon State.
Yeah, here's the verbiage. The 4 highest-ranked conference champions will be seeded numbers 1 and 4.
Boise State's eligible.
Boise State's our guys. A nation turns their lonely eyes to you.
That's much better than whatever the Pac-12 is going to vomit out. Or the Big 12.
Yeah, that might be. That might end up being there. Also, 3 down for me. Miami, my God, what are we doing? What are we doing? They are too one-dimensional. I know game day is going to Cal this weekend for that traditional heavyweight tilt between the Hurricanes and the Cal Bears, which, by the way, I think is a 10 o'clock kick out in Berkeley. So you got that going for you, which is nice. But the fact that it came to that for Miami, Florida State got drilled by my ponies. Drilled. Remember we talked SMU at the start of the season? They're like, boy, we can't wait to play Florida State, see what they're all about. I don't know if Mike Norvell will ever recover from being left out of the playoff. I don't know if that program will. I think they're cooked as a program. Clemson bounced back a little bit after their loss to Georgia, but I'm very curious what happens at the top of the ACC rather as well. It's going to be all about Miami for that league. Brandon Marcello coming up next. We'll ask him about all of this stuff on a wild weekend of college football coming up next. Bishop and Friends right here on The Fan.
1, 2, 3. The Daily Coach Ryan Day Show is brought to you locally by Credit Union of Ohio and by Hyde Park Prime Steakhouse on The Fan, Ohio's sports destination.
This is the Ryan Day Show, brought to you statewide by Safelite Auto Glass. You said the competition would ramp up. It did get tougher. Your team certainly responded. Though you never trailed, there were some moments there, and you get done.
Yeah, no, listen, I mean, it's a conference game on a road, and I thought it was a great environment. It was loud early on, and, back and forth. They had a couple nice plays, and I think Jonathan's doing a great job getting them to play hard, but I thought we responded well, made some big plays.
I'm guessing there will be a Jeremiah Smith bobblehead by week's end.
Made some unbelievable plays, and he was really moving fast on the reverse. He was obviously a tremendous playmaker, but to me, it's more about his attitude, his humility, his work ethic, his discipline, and his, how much he loves his teammates.
We'll have a final comment after this.
Hi, this is Paul Keels. This Buckeye season, don't let a broken windshield ruin your game plan. Safelite Auto Glass makes it easy to get your windshield fixed with their mobile glass shops all over Central Ohio. They can come to you anywhere, giving Buckeye fans more time for game time. OH? Man, I love that. Schedule at safelite.com. Safelite Auto Glass is a proud sponsor of Ohio State Athletics.
Safelite Repair, Safelite Replace.
Coors Light presents To Chill or Not to Chill. When your friend skips your favorite song on the playlist. End the friendship. Or choose chill because that song lives rent-free in your head anyway. And you're planned ahead by bringing Coors Light to the party. And the sound of that ice-cold can cracking open was music to your ears already. Coors Light. Choose chill. Celebrate responsibly. 2024 Coors Brewing Company, Golden, Colorado.
Ohio State is saving lives every day.
We're the economic engine of the state, a major employer.
We're on the forefront of cancer research,
impacting tens of thousands daily.
This is Ohio State.
This is the Ohio State University.
At Ohio State, we are the never afraid to innovate teams, the agile, get it done teams, the achieve more together teams, and the improve people's lives teams. Together, we are the Ohio State University.
Learn more about Ohio State at osu.edu/impact.
Iowa's a better ball club than Michigan State?
Every week when you're playing in the Big Ten, you got to bring it. And all these teams are good. And so, we'll quickly turn our attention to Iowa, which, they're coming off of a bye week, and they got a really good team again.
Congrats, Ryan. This is the Ohio State Sports Network from Learfield.
What do football and finances have in common? The team you play with makes a big difference. Credit Union of Ohio is your financial team to help you save and spend like a winner. Whether you're looking to make a big purchase or find ways to build up your savings, you'll always work with a team player at Credit Union of Ohio. Navigate your next big money play easily through Credit Union of Ohio's website at cuofohio.org. That's cuofohio.org. NCUA insured, equal housing lender.
For more than 35 years, Hyde Park Prime Steakhouse has been known by Buckeye Nation as serving the best steaks in the city. Our thick-cut, aged steaks have been a staple in Columbus with 3 locations in Upper Arlington, Dublin, and downtown. Hyde Park is proud to introduce our newly added wine room at the downtown Columbus location, where a new elegance in dining will surround you. And coupled with live entertainment every weekend, Hyde Park will be the perfect setting for any occasion or the perfect night out. Hyde Park is a proud sponsor of Ohio State Athletics. Go Bucks!
Get in zone, AutoZone.
Welcome to AutoZone. What are you working on today? So you've got an oil change coming up. You can go farther and save on full synthetic with our oil change special. Right now, you can get 5 quarts of Valvoline Advanced Full Synthetic with an STP Extended Life oil filter for just $35.99. Get the parts you need when you need them at AutoZone or AutoZone.com.
Get in zone, AutoZone.
Restrictions apply.
Good morning, Doctor.
Doctor?
Hi, Doctor.
Doctor? Dr. Jackson's practice is growing.
What do you mean we're still short-staffed?
He needs a good patient doctor.
How do we not have enough doctors to doctor all these patients?
And he doesn't have the patience to sift through hundreds of resumes.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. When you sponsor a job on Indeed, it's easier for talented candidates to find it, which makes it easier for you to hire them. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
Bishop and Friends is sponsored by Awaken 180 Weight Loss. Fast, sustainable weight loss without medications. The solution for weight loss. Awaken 180 Weight Loss.
Drink recommendations, movie reviews, sports discussion, whatever the hell Reeser does. This is Bishop and Friends.
It's good to have a great friend of the program back on. Our buddy Brendan Marcello, National College Football reporter at CBS Sports and 24/7. He joins on the Brian Heating Cooling Systems Fan Guest Hotline. Well, are you not entertained That was about as good as you get. Let's start on Saturday night and what happened in Tuscaloosa. I was thinking to myself, my goodness, the difference between Kalen DeBoer's night had Georgia been able to put one more in the paint versus the fact that they didn't. Take me through that one from your perspective and just what it meant nationally.
Yeah, it was an incredible game to watch. What was so impressive, obviously, was just the way Alabama opened that game, making Georgia look pedestrian on defense. And the difference in this game, as much as we're focusing on Ryan Williams, the freshman receiver, and what he was able to do that throughout that game, including the game-winning touchdown catch, Jalen Milroe was just absolutely balling and doing anything he wanted against that defense practically. The one thing that would concern me if I was Alabama is that they've been inconsistent at times during spurts of games, whether it was South Florida earlier this season or in the second half against Georgia. But incredible game plan going into that against Georgia. I mean, Georgia had not allowed a lot of explosive plays, and then the 3 of the first 10 plays, they've got explosive plays produced by Jalen Milroe. Incredible stuff. And the thing is, though, Kirby Smart doesn't have a Nick Saban problem. He's got an Alabama problem. He just can't beat them. 1-6, including that national championship game win, which is he could hang his hat on. But 1-6, and I'm starting to think that he's got some ghosts flying around in his head going into these games because they've got equal talent every single year. But man, they just in some big moments they just look pedestrian at times against them.
It's like the only team he can't beat, legitimately. The only team he can't beat is Alabama. Brandon, I said this earlier on our show, and I'm curious your thoughts on it. We talked so much about DeBoer having to fill in Saban's shoes and how just brutal that is. I mean, Nick's in his luxury suite. He's doing pregame. He's at halftime. He's doing the breakdown of the game. I can't imagine trying to do that as a coach. But I don't know if we gave enough credit to what Kalen DeBoer does offensively. And we saw it with Penix, who at Indiana was pretty pedestrian and then became a Heisman finalist at Washington. And we're seeing that with Milroe, I think, as well. And so now his offensive acumen and Bama's talent elicits what we saw on Saturday.
Yeah, Jalen Milroe's got to be living a dream right now because he's finally in an offense that's really taking advantage of his strengths and what he's able to do offensively on the run and creating and then just also stretching plays out. Georgia really did a great job last season for him, limiting him to one of his worst games against yards per pass through the air. And then this one, he just kind of went off on him. They changed the game plan a little bit, Georgia did, but it's just one of those things where you have to pick your poison against Alabama. I mean, do you try to double cover Ryan Williams, and that leaves you an opportunity where you're not going to have a spy on Jalen Milroe, and then also you're going to leave another receiver open potentially on the field? This Alabama offense has the potential to be one of those that, a lot like 2019 LSU with Joe Burrow, is just what do you do week to week with them? Because they're going to be able to beat you any number of ways, and not to mention they can run the ball very effectively as well.
Brandon, how many losses do you think Georgia can take? And I'm certainly not thinking they're going to drop 3 or 4, but their schedule is as robust as anybody in the country. What's the number that if they get to November with this number, they're still in good shape?
Say it again. I'm sorry.
How many losses can Georgia take and still be in the mix? Because their schedule is ambitious. They're going to win most of them. They're loaded. I mean, the comeback was gutsy, all those things. But Texas will be a full day. They still got to play Ole Miss. They got to play Tennessee. It's a full day the rest of the schedule.
Yeah, they could get in with 3 losses, but 2 of them can't beat Bama. And if they were to go into the SEC championship game with 2 losses, they'd have to win the SEC championship. It's a matter of who you lose to. Of course, and also I don't think they can get in with three losses if, one of those losses is to a team that's just on the outside looking into the top 25. And also that game at Ole Miss looms huge for them. It might end up being a playoff elimination game potentially for Georgia based on the schedule. And also, of course, Ole Miss after just lost to Kentucky this past weekend. So I still think it's very, very possible that 3-loss team in the SEC gets in the playoff this year.
Brandon, we struggle with it because, and this is an anomaly from a scheduling standpoint. Ohio State usually plays a big non-conference game. Next year they open with Texas. It's just supposed to be Washington this year, and because of the expansion, they kind of push that game out. So we're trying to judge what this team is on a week-to-week basis. It's difficult. From a national perspective, obviously Ohio State has a talent, but how do you know that they can or cannot punch toe-to-toe with a team like Georgia and Bama and whoever else?
You don't know until you know, until we see it. And I think that going on the road is going to help here over the next few weeks a little bit more. But also, we've seen it. I'm not comparing Ohio State to Ole Miss, but Ole Miss looked like world beaters offensively. And then Kentucky, with a competent to great defense, shut them down at home this past week. And so you wonder how Ohio State will counterpunch something like that. Of course, Michigan at the end of the year is one of those, but Michigan doesn't have an offense. No. The other issue with that is also I look at Ole Miss and Kentucky. Kentucky doesn't have an offense, and yet they were able to beat Ole Miss. But listen, Ohio State, when you talk about like execution, is probably one of the top 2 or 3 teams when it just comes to execution on both sides of the ball. They just know what they are and know what they can do there. Whereas with an Alabama, they've got a great high ceiling, but they're inconsistent at times, as I've mentioned earlier. So, But Ohio State just seemingly puts it all together every single game and kind of wins any matter of way they want to.
They go out to Eugene to take on Oregon in a couple of weeks. Obviously, all eyes will be on that one, and that's kind of the one we're waiting on because it is difficult to try to make sense of it. Big picture, I'm doing the math on the playoff and of what's happening in the Big 12 and just kind of the mess that I think that league is going to be. I think it's going to cannibalize itself. How many people do you talk to that are fully aware of how this 12-team playoff is going to work, buddy? Because a lot of people I talk to think it's going to be teams ranked 1 through 12, and I'm like, nope, not quite like that.
Yeah, I can't wait to see. There's going to be a lot of discussion. Here's the thing: we're also seeing, not say the rise of the Group of Five, but there are legitimately 3 teams in the Group of Five that have a case for making it as a playoff this year. And if they keep winning the way they can moving forward, there's going to be one Group of 5 team potentially here that gets left out. And what if that ends up being something like Notre Dame, which lost to Northern Illinois at home, a Northern Illinois team that just got blown out by Buffalo or whatever, and their schedule's really weak the rest of the way until they play USC. But if they beat USC, they're already in line potentially to get in the playoff. And that's probably going to knock out one of those Group of 5 teams that are special right now. I mean, Boise State obviously is one of them. UNLV, both in the Mountain West, they're going to have to play each other at some point. And consider this. UNLV has an opportunity this Friday night to beat a third power conference team. And Syracuse is coming to their place Friday night.
Right.
So if UNLV goes through this gauntlet here and then meets Boise State, say, in the Mountain West Conference Championship, and both are legitimate, maybe top 15 teams at that point or whatever, and they only have one loss, I could see people arguing that they deserve to be in there over a Notre Dame team that lost to Northern Illinois at home.
Well, buddy, the other part of that is if they're ranked higher than the Big 12 conference champ, they would get a bye.
Right. Yeah.
So they could actually be talking about a bye if it played out the way that you lined it out there.
And you mentioned the Big 12. This weekend, I think seven games were all one possession there. And we all knew going into this year, we figured that the Big 12 was going to be the home of the close games. We've also had some weird, crazy, decisions made there. Utah, Cam Rising losing at home to Arizona. Of course, BYU just bludgeoning Kansas State a week ago. It's weird times the Big 12. They're feasting on themselves, and I don't necessarily know if they were counting on. We knew there'd be close games, and then the conference was almost wide open, but I don't think they were prepared for what BYU's doing right now.
No.
And then Oklahoma State is falling apart, and certainly doesn't look like a top 25 team to me. They got issues, but
big time.
The Big 12 is hurting itself in a lot of ways because we got one surprise team in BYU, and we got an Oklahoma State team that's supposed to contend, struggling. And then you got Utah, that's a completely different team without Cam Rising.
Totally. I'll get you out of here on this one, buddy. Is this the first time, and I think I have this right, weren't Julio and AJ freshmen at the same time? I'm pretty sure they were. This is the best two receivers in the country are both freshmen with Williams and Jeremiah Smith up here.
It's an insane. They should be like in high school, chilling out. And here they are. Ryan Williams, 17 years old. What he's doing is incredible. It was almost like Ryan Williams and Jeremiah Smith were duking it out. The games were pretty much going on at the same time. Ryan Williams had a big catch, right? Then Jeremiah Smith would have one against Michigan State. It's absolutely special. In fact, my CBS Sports Power Rankings are coming out today. I led off with that. I think my lead was something like, it's good to be young, but it's even better to be king. And boy, both of them are kings right now as freshmen. It's incredible. In a sport where the transfer portal and veteran quarterbacks and veterans seem to kind of get things going, win games, the spotlight's been stolen by these two guys. And also other freshmen across the country are doing very well. And we haven't seen anything like this, I think, in quite some time. To see two freshmen doing what they're doing and dominating the sport against dominant teams, really good teams, it's amazing to watch.
Really is. Great talking to you, buddy. Thanks for your time. Greatly appreciate it.
Hey, no problem.
All right, that's Brandon Marcello, national college football writer at CBS and at 24/7 Sports. Three things on a Monday. Up next, Bishop and Friends right here on The Fan.
If you consider yourself a Buckeye fan, you've come to the right place. This is your heritage sports talker and home of Ohio State athletics, The Fan, Ohio's sports destination.
Attention Ohio pizza restaurant owners. Tired of glitchy point-of-sale systems slowing you down? Meet Hunger Rush, Ohio's favorite pizza POS. With reliable hardware, an easy-to-use system, and 24/7 customer support, Hunger Rush speeds up your operations and boosts repeat orders by up to 10%. This is the restaurant point-of-sale built for pizza. Easily manage your drivers, easily take orders online, easily train your staff in minutes, and easily make modifications. Need to talk to a real person? That's easy too. Top Ohio pizzerias are winning with Hunger Rush. Solutions to help you streamline service, optimize workflows, and maximize profits. Join the thousands of successful restaurants transforming their operations with Hunger Rush for $0 down and $0 a month. Tools for menu management, marketing, customer engagement, and increased upsells, all in one simple platform. That's Hunger Rush, Ohio's favorite pizza POS. Schedule your free no-obligation demo at ohiopos.com. ohiopos.com. ohiopos.com.
With so much in one place, Meijer is the only stop you'll need to make. Save big with weekly deals going on now. Like California red or black seedless grapes, only $1.49 per pound. Fresh from Meijer 80% lean ground beef, just $4.99 a pound. And Meijer shredded, sliced, or chunk cheese, 3 for $6. You can always count on low prices and great quality at Meijer. Exclusions apply. See these deals and more in-store or in the Meijer app.
All right. Protect yourself, Ohio. Get your shots for COVID and flu today. A message from the Ohio Departments of Health and Aging.
Looking to sell your home? Don't pay 6% commission. Call my guys at Sell for 1% Realtors. They're full service, not a do-it-yourself kind of thing. On average, customers save over $10,000. Give them a call, 614-451-6616. That's 451-6616.
Friday nights mean high school football. Join us for the Fan's High School Game of the Week.
This week, partly at DeSales.
Live coverage starts Friday night at 6:30 on ESPN Columbus, 1460 AM, and the Fan's HD2. The Fan.
Scott from the Cleveland area has coached girls basketball and supported his granddaughter's athletic pursuits.
My granddaughters have worked hard to excel in sports. It's tough enough. So the idea that Sherrod Brown voted to allow transgender biological men to compete in girls' sports, it's unfair and dangerous. And introducing a bill to allow biological men in girls' locker rooms? Biological men to shower in my granddaughter's locker room? No way. I worry about the safety of my family constantly. Now I have to worry about Sherrod Brown's crazy liberal ideas. I thought Sherrod Brown was on my side, but he's way too liberal for me.
Sherrod Brown has let Ohio down. Now he's way too liberal for Ohio. Senate Leadership Fund paid for and is responsible for the content of this advertising. Not authorized by any candidate or candidates committee. www.senateleadershipfund.org.
Order like a champ at Raising Cane's. With tailgates of hand-battered chicken fingers and cane sauce and jugs of freshly made tea and lemonade, you can guarantee victory for every game day meal. Raising Cane's Chicken Fingers. One love.
Proud sponsor of Ohio State Athletics.
Hey, what's up? It's T-Bone. If you need a new roof but you're not sure you can afford it, no problem. Right now, Able Roof is offering no payments, no interest until 2026 for qualified buyers. Yep, that's the same Able Roof that's been voted the #1 roofing company in Columbus by Consumer Choice Awards 22 years in a row. Want more? Able Roof will give you up to $1,000 off a new roof, siding, or windows. This is a limited time offer, so call Able Roof today.
Call Able for the proof. 444-ROOF.
Get your air conditioner fixed fast. Call Care Heating and Cooling. 1-800-COOLING.
Want to know anything about the Fans contest, how to win, or what's up for grabs? Check out 971thefan.com. The Fan, Ohio's sports destination.
The final season of Yellowstone might just be Bo's dad live on YouTube. What's the difference anyway? This is Bishop and Friends.
All right, Reese, what do we have on the poll today?
The Daily Fan poll asks, where do you think Ohio State should currently be ranked in the college football poll? We'll assume it's the AP poll they're speaking of.
Yeah.
Third is getting the most respondents here at the Daily Fan poll with 62%. 24% say second. 6% say they should be the top-ranked team. 6% also say they should be ranked fourth or lower.
Third.
They're right where they should be.
Bama, Texas, Ohio State. That's how I have it. Yeah, that's how that should be. Time for three things on a Monday. Hit it, boys.
1, 2, 1, 2, 3 things.
Sponsored by Custom Air. Custom Air. Custom Solutions. Custom Comfort.
Number one for me, listen, kids, we get a lot wrong on this program, especially when it comes to NFL picks this season in regard to yours truly. But one of the things we get right pretty consistently is how things are happening and shaking out in college football. And one of the things we've been adamant about is the Big Ten and the SEC starting to close the size of this party. And Heather Dinich reporting this in the last 10 minutes. The Big Ten and the SEC are going to talk about possible scheduling partnerships and college football future format and automatic bids. This is about to be a 2-league playoff, kids. They're going to have most of the teams, and everyone else is going to have to deal with it. We've been saying this for a long time, and it's all coming home to roost.
And as a fan of the Ohio Bobcats, this makes me feel a lot better about their move, hopefully, to a Group of 5 college football playoff to crown a Group of 5 national champion.
Yep.
Like, you're not playing with the big boys, then don't worry about it. Be your own thing. We have a Monday Night Football pair of games to pick tonight.
Oh, my God.
I was 9-5
Were you
on
really?
games Thursday and Sunday. So entering tonight, I would love it, very much so, if I could nail these two and go 11-5 for like the third out of 4 weeks. But at 7:30, you've got the Titans and the Dolphins. The Dolphins are 2.5-point favorites. I think you're getting Snoop Huntley, the starter for the Dolphins, at quarterback. I'm going with Miami in the 2.5.
Same. Yep, I got coaching there. I like their coaching a little bit more. I like their operation. Give me Miami.
At 8:15, the Lions are going to host the Seahawks. The Lions are 4-point favorites in this one. Live flip, give me Detroit.
Was going that way anywhere. They're wearing the all black. I don't love black for black's sake, but I think they're going to look great. I think they're going to be fired up on Monday night. I think Seattle hasn't been tested yet. I like actually Detroit pretty big in this one by a couple of scores. Good job out of you, by the way, Reese. That's a hell of a start to NFL picks, buddy.
Playoff baseball starts tomorrow. I hope I watch a lot of it. Now, I don't want to be that fan who, when the weather starts to change, they can only watch one sport at one time, but I am capable of being that. Playoff baseball, I hope I'm watching. Jury's still out.
You'll see.
I'll find out tomorrow.
I mean, you kind of already answered your question. Like, I hope I do.
I
hope I get taller by the end of the program.
I'll at least be checking scores.
Number 2 for me, it's always the rain. When the boys say stuff like, Dad, why do we live in Ohio? These type of things, it's always the rain that does it. It's not the cold. It's not the snow. It's the rain and the gray. Look, I get it. We've had a wonderful September up until this past weekend, but I could use a little bit of sun in my October before we push all the way into winter.
Speaking of October, so the Blue Jackets start next Thursday. with their regular season. They've got preseason hockey tonight on the Fan. They're going to be hosting the Capitals at 7 o'clock. So an important programming reminder, as Buckeye Roundtable will go at 6 o'clock. You'll have Ryan Day at 6:30. Then at 6:45 on these airways, it's going to flip over to Jackets preseason coverage. So the puck will drop at Nationwide at 7. If you're still interested in Buckeye Roundtable, that'll be over on ESPN Columbus. It's from 6:45 to 8 o'clock. Just, while you're driving around listening, don't get too confused. Hopefully, if you're listening now and you will be listening later, you understand that at 6:45, you want the Roundtable, ESPN Columbus. You want Blue Jackets hockey, that's here on the Fan.
I don't understand how they didn't move that season back when they had the chance to push it. To start now.
Yeah.
Tough. Go ahead, Cole. Sorry to steal your...
My favorite quarterback stat, or at least one of them for my entire life, has been yards per attempt. It's a good efficiency stat, kind of like slugging percentage in baseball of the playoffs that I may or may not be watching. We'll find out tomorrow. Top 5 in yards per attempt right here, right now in the NFL. Brock Purdy, Sam Darnold, Anthony Richardson, Jaden Daniels, and Derek Carr. I'm going to tell my statistics to shut up and find a new stat.
Number 3 for me. So we get done watching the Browns game on Sunday, and Beamsy goes, "Dad, do we have to be Browns fans?" And I said, No, you don't. And then I thought to myself, I'm not going to dictate my Sundays with this football team anymore. Like, if it's on, fine, I'll DVR it because I have to and I got to watch it. So I'll rewatch it on my own. They have to earn my Sundays back. That's where I am with this team.
Well, I wish I had the strength that you do, but as a lifer, it's my sentence. And I will be serving Sunday at 1 o'clock against Jaden Daniels and the Washington Commanders. You have the Cleveland Cavaliers coming back in your life here pretty shortly. Their media day is today. Not too many things of note right now in the early portion of it, but 33-year-old grown man Tristan Thompson has Snapchat because, of course, Tristan Thompson would have Snapchat because the messages go away.
What NBC's on?
What the kids are on.
Like the kids app?
Because the messages and pictures go away. 33 is TT's age.
God. How's that possible that he's 30? I feel like he's 52.
Only 33. My goodness.
Jeez.
All right, coming up next is Rothman and Ice. It's a Monday in the fall in Columbus, Ohio, so I think you know what they're talking. They're talking football. Jim Lachey is going to be joining them, as well as Ian Fitzsimmons. And also, Bo, just for you, don't forget Bob Taylor's waiting for you.
Thank you. Yeah, Rothman and Ice and Bob. Me and Bob coming up next. We're back tomorrow. Bishop and Friends right here on The Fan.
Your morning just got beefier. Morning Juice with Beamer, Bobby, and Shark.
Weekdays from 6 to 9.
The Fan, Ohio sports destination. This is a Fan Action Update.
Big Ten college football lines for this weekend. Buckeyes are a 20.5-point favorite over the Hawkeyes on Saturday. Total for the game's 44.5. All of Iowa's games so far this year have actually gone over the total. Michigan is a 2.5-point underdog to Washington on the road. And Friday, Oregon's a 24-point favorite over Michigan State. Nebraska is a touchdown favorite over Rutgers. For your action update, Scotty Vegas.
After 31 years in Washington, just how much has Sherrod Brown changed? When he first wanted our vote, he said this.
My allegiance will be to Ohio and to the communities in Ohio.
To Ohio? Sherrod Brown voted for amnesty for 11 million illegal immigrants. And he voted to give them taxpayer-funded benefits, like free health care to illegals who get amnesty, Social Security checks, COVID relief checks, all to be paid for by you. And Sherrod Brown's open border policies have led to more fentanyl, dangerous gangs, even terrorists pouring into our country. So when Sherrod Brown says this,
my allegiance will be to Ohio and to the communities in Ohio.
Don't listen to what Sherrod Brown says. Watch what he does. Because Sherrod Brown doesn't vote for Ohio anymore. He's way too liberal for Ohio. American Crossroads paid for and is responsible for the content of this advertising. Not authorized by any candidate or candidates committee. AmericanCrossroads.org.
Get in zone, AutoZone.
Welcome to AutoZone. What are you working on today? So you've got an oil change coming up. You can go farther and save on full synthetic with our oil change special. Right now, you can get 5 quarts of Valvoline Advanced Full Synthetic with an STP Extended Life oil filter for just $35.99. Get the parts you need when you need them at AutoZone or AutoZone.com.
Get in zone, AutoZone.
Restrictions apply.
Good morning, Doctor.
Doctor?
Hi, Doctor.
Doctor?
Dr. Jackson's practice is growing.
What do you mean we're still short-staffed?
He needs a good patient doctor.
How do we not have enough doctors to doctor all these patients?
And he doesn't have the patience to sift through hundreds of resumes.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. When you sponsor a job on Indeed, it's easier for talented candidates to find it, which makes it easier for you to hire them. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
Twin Peaks is the best in the game. Here, your favorite drafts are poured at a frosty 29 degrees, and rare barrel-aged whiskeys are served just the way you want them. It's bigger game days and bolder fight nights. I mean, where else can you find a scratch kitchen that always comes in clutch every day from lunch to late night? Only at Twin Peaks, the #1 sports bar.
Twin Peaks Scratch Kitchen scores every time. Dig into hand-smashed burgers, chef-inspired flatbreads, and more at your local lodge.
Texting enrolls you into recurring automated text messages. Consent not required to purchase. Message and data rates may apply.
Hey, Dan, how you doing? Haven't seen you around the gym for a while.
Yeah, I've really fallen off. Since I turned 40, I just don't get the results I used to get.
Could be lower testosterone.
Lower T?
Yeah, I went through it a while back. Once you hit 40, your body has less free testosterone. I got Nugenix Total T, and it's made a huge difference for me.
I've seen that ad on TV. Is it for real?
Oh, yeah. The key ingredient is something called Tesnor, which helps boost free and total testosterone levels to help you trim up and stay lean.
And it's made a difference for you?
Man, I feel like I'm in my 20s again, at work, in the gym, and in the bedroom.
Are they still giving out complimentary bottles for people to try it for themselves?
Yeah, you just need to send them a text.
Text FLASH to 321-321 right now for your complimentary bottle of Nugenix Total T, the #1 selling testosterone booster at GNC. Plus, text now and we'll include a bottle of Nugenix Thermo, our most powerful fat incinerator ever, to help you get back into shape fast, absolutely free. Text SLASH to 321